welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Jess Perkins, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Stewart.
Jess, the mask slipped.
Can we edit that out?
I think we probably should edit that out. We don't want the people talking about the truth.
And once again this week, Dave Warnicki's chosen to not turn up to work. We assume he's fine.
Yes, and we really want you to stop asking because that makes us feel like you don't trust us.
Yeah, he's fine. Everyone's okay.
Yeah.
And we're delighted to be joined by friend of the show, comedian, podcaster, Sam Peterson.
Oh, third wheel Sam Peterson. When I came here, you two were hot and heavy. That's why it took us a while to start, because you two were on.
Yeah, it took us a while to start because we had to finish.
And I was like skipping, you know, when you're like trying to get in, waiting for the beat to get in, and I was like, let's get involved. The beat didn't arrive, and I just waited and watched two of my great friends make love. Which I think is so lovely.
It's nice.
It felt nice having you there, though.
Yeah, I felt seen. And not seen at the same time.
Yeah, we felt seen.
I regret,
and we liked it.
I regret starting this.
No, it's fun.
No,
the way that you're explaining that Dave Warnicki, like, you're making it so weird by over-explaining.
He's fine. What do you mean?
Fine.
He is fine.
He's actually fine.
Well,
But
that's
I
the
know
thing,
he's
Sam.
fine.
We've had all these messages of people being like, where's Dave? Is he okay? You guys are being sus. And we're like, and so then you have to like,
I actually have heard, I've got a text from him and I'll read it now.
Okay.
It just says, this is from Dave Warnicki, it actually came through this morning, and he said, don't worry, I'm fine.
Great.
That's all it said.
Yeah.
So he's fine.
Had you heard from him
No.
for a while before that?
Nah, like a year, I reckon it's been.
So out of context, that is a bit concerning, isn't it?
He said it's fine though, so I wouldn't worry about it.
I wouldn't worry.
It wasn't his like usual way he texts or anything. But it was just like,
lots of memes.
Lots of usually
He
sends
mostly-
lots of Mr. Burns memes.
If there's
and
one thing
stuff.
I know about Dave Warnicki, it's that he loves a GIF react. So he just sends
That's
a
all he
lot
does.
of GIFs.
Yeah, love hard eyes, love hard eyes,
Love hard eyes.
Fire emoji, fire emoji.
The little
fire emoji.
like bitmoji of him.
Yes.
Is it called a Bitmoji?
It's called a Bitmoji.
Yeah.
And then it just goes slay all day.
Yeah. He
Go off hunting.
He just sends that. I'm like,
That's Dave.
I'm 5 minutes late, and he just sends that, and I'm like, yeah. Great.
And now it's just, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I think he's doing fine.
I think
he's doing good.
So
Yeah,
we're
I wouldn't worry
delighted to
about
have
it.
you here instead.
Oh, thanks. It's an absolute honour. Thank you.
And
I do go on it.
I mean, it's, Dave probably wouldn't say this, even if he could, but how good is it to be alive?
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. He's a little tied up right now. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Busy.
Okay.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know
don't
anything
make
specific.
it seem
I don't know anything specific.
weird, Sam.
Okay, I haven't. And I haven't.
Sam, have you listened to this show before? I know
I've
you've
listened
been
to
on
it
it
many,
once.
many times before.
Do you think you would be able to explain it to any new listeners?
Absolutely. Wonderful people. Dave, Jess, or Matt take it in turns to read out a report every single week. And at the start, they have to ask a gorgeous little question for the others to guess what the report is about. How's that for a...
That's
That was
actually very
maybe
good.
the best of all
That's
time.
embarrassingly
I was reading it off a teleprompter. I've got my teleprompter friend here who
I was
always
wondering what
comes
he was
with me.
doing.
He always comes with me. I'm that kind of podcast. That's the sort of money I'm making these days.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got teleprompt money?
I got teleprompt money.
Holy
Not a lot of people
shit.
have that teleprompt money, but I got that sweet cash.
Because you've got your own podcast
I got
empire.
2 podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought you had 3.
No, I got 2. Got 2. What are you thinking?
Am I the asshole?
So that's the same podcast. So I got Confessions, and then Am I the Arsehole is a fortnightly little spin-off on that channel.
Okay, you named it differently, but you don't think of it as a different podcast.
I don't think of it as a different thing. I want it to be the same.
Yes, okay.
Same thing. So it doesn't feel like I'm doing as much, but I've actually committed to 3 podcasts.
That is a third podcast, Sam.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what feed you're putting
Doesn't
in.
matter how I say it, it is a third podcast. So I do that,
Yep.
and I've got so I do that with one guest each week, and then 2 guests. I was saying to Jess the other day, it's exhausting. I've been doing it for 6. This is my 6th year this year of Confessions, and I have to get 2 guests every single week. And I tell you, sometimes that's exhausting. That's why I'm always 8 weeks ahead. You've got to be 8 weeks ahead.
That's
Right.
insane.
I bank them,
For who knew it, I record the week of,
and you can tell
for the most part.
And you can tell.
And I'm only a year or so in, and it's But I have 2 or 3
But you're relaxed
guests.
about it.
I'm maybe too relaxed about it.
But I love that. I love that it comes out. Josh Earl does the same thing. His are always like that week. I think it's so stressful. I couldn't do it with 2 guests. I feel like I get... Well, I mean, I'm saying that to you and you've got 3.
But yeah, I would like to get ahead, and I think I will in life.
Absolutely you will. Get ahead in life.
You know, your first ever guest was me?
It was. You were, and the actor Stephen Curry.
And for some weird reason, I didn't get an invite to the It's a big party.
You did. So this is what Matt and I are always beefing about something, and at the moment, this is me and Matt beefing about this because I did invite you to the big 300th episode party.
Got lost in the mail, I guess.
I didn't have your current address. I'm so sorry.
You probably
Dave
assumed
Warnicky
I'd
was
be Jess's
definitely
plus
there.
one.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, guys, keep out the spare room. I'll tell you to that.
Anyway, you
Hands
did
where I can see them.
You did explain the show very well. And are you actually doing the report this week?
I'm doing the report this week, and
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this report
We
because
are
it's one
too,
of my
because
favourite
it means
stories.
we don't have to do the work.
That's so good. I love that. Jess did also check on me as well to go, how's the report coming on? Because I think that's really good because I imagine sometimes it gets down to the wire.
Oh, it gets into the. I finished mine that we're recording after this last
On your
night.
drive on the way here,
Last
you were
night.
driving, typing on the...
Yeah.
You're wearing those Apple goggles.
Yeah.
Which is actually legal and fine.
It's a normal and cool thing
Well,
to do.
how could they possibly have outlawed it already?
That's true.
Just saying,
It's
you got to
brand
get in here in the loophole
Yeah, that's
period.
No, I did check on you only because,
unreliable.
we write these every month. You know, every 3 weeks we're writing
Yeah.
these for nearly 10 years or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we know how it works.
Yeah.
When you're asking a person to come in and be on your podcast and do all the work, I just thought maybe I'd see if you were
I think it's
okay
good.
or, yeah.
Imagine if I was sending you like, what's a word for game? Like I'm just going to you as a thesaurus going, I do need help with this. I need to put the pictures around the words so I understand them. How do you write this again?
What's this? I'm
What's
looking
the
at? That's
structure
a
of a
balloon,
paragraph?
Sam. Yeah.
And you put full stops after every sentence?
Yeah.
That's exhausting. Every sentence.
Yeah.
You're kidding me right now?
Every single one.
You don't have to. You're reading it.
That's fun.
You
That's fun.
Write it as you want
Yeah.
it to be written.
You know that wonderful book, Cloud Street, by Australia's own Timothy Winton?
Yeah.
He doesn't have punctuation in that.
Really?
Yeah, and it's wild to read it.
When
I hope that's correct.
At uni, I read one
read it for a long time.
that was about Ned Kelly or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, written from the perspective of Ned Kelly, and it had no punctuation, and it hurt my brain.
Why do they do that? I don't
Well,
understand.
it hadn't been invented by the time of Ned Kelly.
Yeah.
Punctuation hadn't been invented. I didn't know that.
And I think Cloud Street was set in Ned Kelly's time.
So that
didn't know. In
explains
Ned Kelly's
that.
Was it a story about
Famously
Ned
Ned
Kelly
Kelly's time. It was.
surfing
Yep. It's always about him surfing.
in Western Australia?
Tim Winton is so funny. Like, what a great
The
author.
sand in Ned's beard.
He popped up as a
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
suggested friends the other day, like on Facebook, popped up as Tim Winton was a suggested friend for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to add him, but I was concerned about his punctuation.
We've replaced a Dave with another Jess and Matt type character.
Oh, yeah.
So now...
Oh yeah, that's terrifying.
we
I'm sorry.
really needed to bring in... Sam can only replace me or you.
All right, I'll be Dave.
Okay, you're going to have to be the
I
Dave.
can be Dave if you want. I know
I
Dave.
said
I know.
I'll be Dave.
He's
That's
fine.
It's already
That's very
started. It's
Dave.
already
Fine.
started.
Sorry, the
That's very
fighting
Dave.
is started. I'm
I'll
going to
be
resist
Dave,
fighting
and
you
I'm
today.
fine. So
we need an anchor here.
Yeah, no, sorry.
shut the fuck up.
Dave, can you
Shut the
please
fuck
just
up.
let me say a few words? We need someone to take control, okay? Dave, please.
Dave, please.
So as you mentioned, Sam, we get onto it with a question. Do you have a question to get us onto the topic?
I got a gorgeous little two-parter question because I wasn't really
Ooh.
sure how to do this in a way, right?
The question is the hardest part.
Question is hard part. Okay. Question 1. Hands on buzzers if you know the answers.
Yeah, ready.
What genre of television took over in the early 2000s with the rise of
Reality TV.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't have
You didn't
you
buzz
had any
in.
buzzer.
Ah,
So Jess is still on to you.
reality TV.
Jess won that one.
Oh,
Sorry to say
very
that.
good.
One
Mine-
point to Jess. I've got points throughout this.
Oh, yeah.
So my buzzer is saying reality TV.
Okay, so what's your answer?
What's your answer?
Quiz shows.
Buzzer. My answer is buzzer, if that's okay.
My answer is
Question. I remember, actually, I'll just say this real quickly. When Matt was the first guest on my podcast ever, and it's all about online confessions, and the first time Matt came on, I kept calling it a game, and Matt, through the whole thing, is just going, this is not a game. That was pretty much our whole episode.
there is no winning here.
This is not a game.
Yes, how does one score points in this
It
game?
was my first podcast. I didn't know what I was doing. Question 2. What is a word to describe a fraudulent act, mostly, as I like to think of it, carried out by a fancy businessman in a top hat? Hands on buzzers.
Reality TV.
No.
No, it's his buzzer. Yes?
Oh, sorry. Oh, my God.
Yep.
You're good,
Matt.
I wasn't really listening, but it sounded like white collar crime or something like
Fraudulent activity.
Oh,
A bit
fraudulent
of a
activity.
fancy word to say it.
that. Fancy word.
Con.
That
Fraud.
is fancy.
That is fancy.
Fraud.
Yeah.
A scam. No, that's
Ooh,
not fancy.
close. Starts with an S. I will tell you that. Starts with an S.
Scandal.
Close.
Damn
Very
it.
close.
Damn
Very close.
Schmozzle.
Rhymes with twindle.
Skindle. Swindle.
You got it.
Do you think
But you
Swindle's
didn't buzz
fancy?
in. I think Swindle sounds
Reality
a little
TV.
bit fancy.
Swindle.
Rhymes with twindle gave me nothing.
Also, is that a word, twindle? Did I just make up a word?
Maybe.
I'm going to look that up. TM. I'll say that real quickly.
I
know that word now.
initially, I think I said skindle thinking scandal, and with an accent, before I finally came to swindle.
Okay,
Wow.
a reality TV swindle.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The reality of it. Now, look, this has been suggested by quite a few people. Sammy Peterson from Melbourne, Australia.
Yes.
That's the end of the list.
Okay.
I just thought I'd do that as a bit of fun because, you usually do that with people suggesting stuff.
Can I see if anyone else
That went
suggested
down
it?
like a lead balloon, but I thought that would be quite fun. I've got better stories. I'm just workshopping stuff today on your podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good place to workshop.
Great place. Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart. Please do pull up a pew as I share with you one of my favourite stories of all time, the great reality TV Swindle.
Ooh.
Now, did either of you have a favourite reality TV show growing up? Were you into reality TV? I imagine you were.
was a big fan of The Villa. It was an English show, and it was so stupid, but it was like...
Rude. Bad review.
They mostly are.
The reviews are in.
but it was like a... I think it was like a computer... The conceit was a computer matched up couples, and they had lived in this... Maybe it was a Spanish villa or something for a weekend.
Yeah. Fancy way to say house.
But
like Swindle.
it was narrated by Australian comedian who's been England based for a long time. Not Joe Little. What's his name? He played Joe Mangle on Neighbours, but his name is
Matt Little.
Matt Little.
Oh, really?
And I thought he was so funny.
Yeah.
It was like very sarcastic, kind of like Come Dine With Me style.
Yeah.
Just like he's sort of, being sarcastic and ironic throughout there. But I just found that so fun. I imagine it probably doesn't hold up, but at the time, 20 years ago or something, I thought it was a lot of fun.
One time, Matt Little, so he was on Neighbours, quite a famous comedian in Australia for a while, and he went over to the UK. He had a son who started doing stand-up around the time that you and I met, Matt, and he was called, he was like a rapper comedian.
Oh,
do you remember
yeah.
him?
Oh.
Maybe. It wasn't Milky T.
Milky T.
It was Milky T.
Milky T. Yeah, Milky T is
Really?
Matt Little's son. And I was like, how fun's that? Milky T was this
did not know
comedian,
that.
English
He was
comedian.
really funny.
He was really, I don't know what happened to Milky T. It's a great name, Milky T.
I did not know that connection.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Matt Little's
I don't
pride and joy.
recognise this guy at all.
Oh yeah, he's great. Did you have a favourite reality TV, Jess? Were you into reality TV
I've
at all?
never been that into reality TV.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Nah, not
Do you watch
really.
it now? Do you have it
Nah.
to zone out? No.
Nah.
All right, we'll move on.
To zone out, I put
Bad
on
question for me to
sitcoms
ask.
I've watched 8 million times.
Well, in the Stage newspaper in 2002, an advertisement was printed that read, "New reality TV show seeks contestants. 1 year, £100,000.
A year.
Whoa.
A year. So you've got to commit to a full year to get £100,000. The advertisement called for the public to apply if they were characterful, which I believe you are, Jess.
Characterful.
Characterful.
Is that a word?
Yep.
Okay.
It's like Twindle.
Sure.
I own that TM as well. I own that.
Characterful.
I'm earning a lot of money out of dictionaries.
You're
these
saying
days.
I'm characterful.
You are characterful.
That is very kind of you.
Resourceful and energetic.
Oof,
tick,
nah.
tick, tick from
Nope,
Jess Perkins
nope,
over here.
nope.
I would say all that about you.
I haven't heard of energetic. I think it's energyful.
It's another word. TM.
Yeah.
And resource-jick.
In 2002, the world was obsessed with reality television.
I was also 12, so I probably shouldn't have gone on a year-long
You
reality
should not
TV
have
show.
done that.
Oh,
You just
okay.
sent away.
I'm hearing a lot of reasons why not, but what about a few reasons why?
No, so far,
You could have been
not
a
for me.
star.
Oh, you could have been a star.
A child star.
Ordinary people became huge stars overnight. Here in Australia, we had Sarah Marie,
Yep.
who was on Big Brother and known for, what was she known for? Do you
The
remember?
bum
The
dance.
bum
Bum
dance.
dance.
The bum dance. Hilarious.
Yep.
And she
And
wore
bunny
bunny
ears.
ears.
Bunny
as well.
ears, yeah.
She was
Pajamas.
big.
She was big.
Early days of Big Brother,
Oh, my God.
they could be Reggie, the fish and chip shop
Reggie,
owner.
Yep. Who came back on a new season.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. In
Blair.
Blair. Naming
Blair
people
went
now.
on to Neighbours.
That's
yeah,
true.
that's right.
Chrissy Swan.
Chrissy Swan.
Famously Chrissy Swan.
I was
now
watching
now a radio host.
Now, wonderful.
Yes,
And
she-
TV host, yeah.
Oh my God, she can do it all.
multimedia
Like you.
host. But she, Blair, I remember.
Are you reaching out to hold my hand?
Yeah,
This is nice. Are you getting jealous, Jess?
Yeah.
Since you two are in a new relationship, and Dave is fun.
I was watching Tism clips the other night, and and one of
I
them.
love how much you love them.
one of the clips has like just features a whole lot of bands. It's like on this camera just rolls across, and all these bands are playing along with the song. And I'm sure one of the bands is Blair from.
Oh, that's amazing. That's interesting. I like that. I went from amazing to interesting.
Yeah, you downgraded.
That is a downgrade.
Amazing. That's
Amazing.
mildly interesting.
You've downgraded from a tornado to a bit of a breeze.
Yeah.
Matt Stewart was on gorgeous Damien Cowell from the band Tism. You're on a song of his.
I was.
Isn't that cool?
Great? I forget
That's
that.
so cool.
I forget
Never
that.
forget.
I listen to that album sometimes and I forget I'm on it. I'm like, oh, God.
I'm really good. Who's that amazing singer? In 2002, Kelly Clarkson won American Idol. And as we all know, 2003, Rob Millsy Mills placed 5th in Australia's version of American Idol, which, hands on buzzers, was called?
New Zealand Idol.
That is correct. You got that right. 2 points for Jess
Bit of a trick,
Perkins.
you'd think. It's Australian based.
It makes sense to call it that.
But
Go for New
Millsy-
Zealand, because we steal all of their acts, so now
Do you think
we took one from
Millsy
them.
is maybe the biggest star from Australian
It's a
reality
huge
TV?
thing to say. Rob Millsy Mills, you get to say the full.
Yeah, Rob Millsy Mills.
That's his handle.
Who would be the big? I get Guy
Casey
Sebastian's probably up there.
Donovan, Guy
Casey Donovan, yeah.
Sebastian, Anthony Kallela.
yep.
Oh,
I believe
yeah.
that's how you say it.
Yep. Kalala.
Kallela. And I have a great thing to...
But I mean, out of all, even Big Brothers. Oh no, Chrissy Swan maybe.
Yeah.
Who'd be
Chrissy Swan.
who's
I
had the
thought you meant
biggest-
from Australian Idol.
I would
New
just
Zealand
re-
Idol, sorry.
from reality TV in general in
I
Australia?
get Chrissy Swan would be the biggest, I think.
Yeah,
when he started
probably,
coming
yeah.
What
out.
about
I'm trying to hold my hand again.
Stop holding hands.
the blonde lady who was in a Blink-182 film clip?
Sophie Monk.
Sophie Monk, thank you.
I can't believe I got that.
He didn't do the buzzer, though, so I get it still.
She was in Bardo.
Yeah. Maybe she'd be up there. I mean,
She'd be up there. She's pretty big.
international listeners will be just going.
Yeah.
I mean, too many to
They're
choose
yelling
from.
at their televisions
Yeah.
right now, if that's how you listen to podcasts. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I assume.
I assume. But Matt Stewart, once I went to go and see Matt Stewart's show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. I think I've seen it every year. And I brought Rob Mills at Rob Millsy Mills. And after it, Matt sent me a photo of him and Rob Millsy Mills when you were on. What year was it when you met him
that
overseas?
2006.
Yeah. So 3 years after he came 5th in New Zealand Idol.
Yeah,
Wow.
he came up to me in an Irish pub and asked to get a photo with me because it was Movember and I had a big mustache.
Oh,
Isn't that fun? Big
That's
Brother
crazy.
was absolutely huge in the UK, making ordinary people just be themselves on television, and they were catapulted into a whole different world. It was the main water cooler talk at the time. Everyone wanted their 15 minutes of fame. In 2002, a man by the name of Nikita Russian had what he described the greatest reality TV show of all time.
Wow.
That's a big call to make, isn't it?
Huge.
We've heard of New Zealand Idol.
Yeah.
And the other one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Little Brother. Whatever.
MasterChef.
MasterChef, another one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you name another one?
Did watch a bit
Villa?
of MasterChef.
Yeah, big sales off MasterChef. Is that where that angry English guy came from?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, was he from?
No, I think he was pretty famous
He was
before.
already
that.
out and then,
Already up there.
But I think that Jamie Oliver did.
Jamie Oliver, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Oliver really got his
In the
break.
nude.
I tell you what,
That
Naked
Naked
Chef. Yeah.
He was very good.
Please, don't get our hopes up, mate. Honestly, a lot of people are tuning in disappointed.
It's also a bit dangerous to cook naked.
It is a little bit.
You know, got some oil spitting.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
want that.
You don't need that. Don't need that on your privates.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. As Nikita Russian explains it himself, we're going to take money on at its own game, and we're going to win. Isn't that fun?
You're going to take on money.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Well, it doesn't really make sense. does it?
We're going to take money on its own game and win.
Monopoly. Is that if money had a game, it would be Monopoly. I reckon.
Absolutely, yeah. I just love that it has the rhythm of something that makes sense.
Yeah,
it
that's
absolutely
right.
doesn't. Because the way he says it, you're like, oh, okay, and then you're like,
It's
you
like
think about
money
it.
is sentient and
Yeah.
and purposefully fucking us over.
I'm gonna crunch it.
Yeah.
That's what swindlers do, though. They're charismatic.
Yep.
And they say things that seem to make sense.
Yeah.
And they suck you in. Jess has done this to me. And, oh, no. Hang on.
Hang on.
No.
Oh, get your mind out of the gutter, everybody. Bloody
That's
hell.
not what I meant. Sam, please do go on.
Hundreds of people applied, either by being handed a flyer, is how a lot of people found out about it, sent the advertisement via email, or
That's important, I think, because he's underlined it.
Yeah. He said it twice.
We're going to take email on its own game, and we're going to win.
Wow.
So you can say about anything, literally.
Money
It
on
doesn't make any
its own
sense.
game.
Or through media advertisements.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
The list of hundreds of people was narrowed down to 30 contestants. These people
Wow.
gave up their jobs and homes for a year, all vying to win £100,000. But there was one little catch.
Do you mean like that? They had to give their homes to Nikita Russia?
No, they didn't have to get, but they just had to be free for the year.
Okay.
Be free of everything.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
Is that what you think of when you go on a holiday? I'm giving up my house,
For 2 weeks.
giving up my job.
I'm giving it up for 2 weeks.
So sorry, boss. I'm giving up my job for 2 weeks.
Here's
I'm
my
quitting
resignation
for 2 weeks.
and fine print for 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Hope you read this bit, PS. There's one little catch. The show never existed.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah. Nikita Russian disappeared, and the contestants never saw him again.
Wait. Oh, what's the scam here?
Well, I'm going to go into it.
Oh,
I promise.
okay, great.
That's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.
I'm just trying to what's he done? Oh, did they have to pay an entry fee or something?
Well, it's interesting. Okay, it's interesting. I want to take the time to introduce you to a few people who are on this show.
Okay.
On inverted.
A few key players.
Few key players.
Wow.
Rosie, who was living her life in Groundhog Day, working an office job and facing complete boredom. She felt like she could do her job with her eyes closed. Lucy, you two both have your eyes closed, just for the listener right now as well.
Yeah.
Her
we do our jobs with our eyes closed.
You love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's right.
Just made that up.
Her job was optometrist, so it actually she was dreaming if she thought that she could do that.
She was absolutely dreaming. She had her eyes closed. She was asleep.
But hang on. I forgot what I was going to say.
But I will hang on.
Thank you.
Until
You hold
need
on
it.
to it. We'll edit this bit
I'm
out.
going to hang on to that bit.
Hold on to it.
All right, Matt. Think of a question. Anything.
You've got And you're well?
So what? Literal Groundhog Day?
Literal.
Yeah,
Literal.
okay.
Lucy, who was 34, I felt that was
Thank
good.
you.
I held on to it. It was good.
That was worth it.
Lucy, who was 34 at the time,
Oh my God, imagine.
a carpet designer with a good, steady job. Like all contestants, she was bored. She talks in the documentary, which is a great documentary, The Greatest Show Never Made, about having to give presentations for an hour to sell carpets, mostly to architects and builders.
Ugh.
She would always look at making it fun, always trying to entertain people, and she then became interested in presenting. She wanted to be a news reporter.
Okay.
This is the classic story.
Tale as old as
It's
time itself.
the carpet sales to news anchor pipeline
Yep.
is
It's huge.
it's a big
It's
pipe,
laughable.
but it is still got a high pressure.
Yeah.
At the other end.
That's Yeah. right.
That's how it's a huge hose.
Yep.
But still blasting out the other end.
Well, didn't William Shakespeare, created 7 stories, and there are only 7 stories, and that's one of them. The
Yes.
carpet salesman that
Yeah.
turns into a
Yeah.
news reporter. It's one
Yeah.
of them.
Carpet designer is an interesting job as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of wool. And then next to that, another little bit of wool.
Yep, a little bit
And
more.
I think we'll go another little bit of wool.
you
About
want
the
to be
same
extra
height.
cushy?
Should we make
Yeah.
them different colours or all the same colour?
Well, I'm pretty fun, so we'll get to that. But at the moment, same colour, another little bit of wool.
Daniel was a 23-year-old person who had recently moved to the UK and wanted to experience everything. He felt spontaneous, carefree, and fun, although describes himself as being very naive at the time, which is why he ended up in this
I
predicament.
mean, you're 23.
You're 23.
Honestly,
Come
if you're
on.
23 and you're listening to this and you're like, no, Jess, I'm not naive. Yes, you are. Come back to me in 3 years.
That's such a naive thing to
and
say.
you'll be like, fuck, she was right.
Jess, rock that.
Yeah.
She's right.
When
Well
you're
done.
26, that's when you're like, all right, now I got to figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
got
when I had
everything
everything
figured
figured
out.
out.
Yeah.
Until you get to 29, and then you look back on 26
And you go, holy
"What?
shit.
Who was that kid?"
baby?
Then you get to 30. Got it all.
And then it's all
figured out.
downhill from there.
Sure.
Yeah. It's all bad.
Jane was living with her parents, working the typical 9 to 5. She felt like her life was a broken record. She didn't feel like she had a lot of purpose in life. John was looking for an adventure. John is a little more subdued as portrayed in the documentary. He was handed a flyer as opposed to the others to apply for the show, and he was very excited about it. There's my favourite character in this. Tim was a playwright.
Tim Winton.
It's Tim Winton.
Wow.
I think of his books as plays.
Of course.
Of course you do. No punctuation. Famously plays. A clown called Skinny Bean. He
Okay.
played that in his spare time. A clown called Skinny Bean.
Oh,
And
Is
a
he gonna-
cameraman.
okay.
Yeah. Well, there's three things.
I don't know. When I hear a clown who likes to film things,
You think it's pretty cool?
I think he's got a sex dungeon. This guy.
There's a dark side there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is before OnlyFans, though. So
That's true.
nobody's watching it. This is just for him.
Yeah.
Just videotapes, just cassettes. He describes his clowning as himself, but unleashed. He
Ooh.
loves provoking people, always wanting to push people's buttons. At the time, he was 37. He'd been clowning for 10 years, and he wanted to discover something new.
This goes to what you were talking about. By 26, 27, you haven't figured out. That's
Yeah.
when you start your clowning career.
That's right.
And if you're a bit of a dropkick, you're still doing it 10 years later.
Oh, cop that,
That
John.
is harsh. I'm not touching that one.
Nah, don't that one.
do
you
not touch that
can't
one.
go there, Jess.
Well, I just did. I love to provoke.
You're a
Push
shock jock.
buttons.
You're a shock jock. Tim bought a film camera around this time and he became fascinated with it, documenting everything as he went. He treated it as his own video diary, filming a lot of him as his clown Skinny Bean.
Okay.
Tim saw the advertisement for a camera operator and applied.
Oh.
Firstly, all of these people had been contacted by Nikita Russian Productions to audition. Some people were just in it for the money. Some people were in it for the fame, wanting the show to help raise their profiles. Along
Well,
with
it
the
seems
email,
not just raise their profile, but like create and then
create
raise their
the profile.
profile.
Apart
Yeah.
from Skinny Bean, huge.
Huge,
No,
obviously.
yeah.
Huge.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
We all remember
Raising
Skinny
the
Bean.
profile.
Of one of the
She's already selling carpet. She has a profile. in the trade.
In
she's
that
one of
trade.
the best
Yeah.
carpet
Come on.
presenters.
Carpet presenters.
Yeah.
Also with this email was a map with an X marking the location. It was on an island that you had to go to by boat. Everyone's imaginations were running wild.
What the heck?
What
I'm
could it be?
loving this. I'm so in all of a sudden.
So they just sent them a map.
I was bored until this point.
Hey,
A treasure map.
now.
Now I'm
you didn't like hearing
listening.
about Skinny Bean?
No, I
You're
love
kidding
Skinny
yourself
Bean.
right now.
Yeah, no,
He's
I
on
can't lie to
snooze
you
control
anymore.
over here. Was it a private island? Were they going to be living a life of luxury for a year? It all felt as if this was a pretty big deal. I think it's going to turn out really well.
Oh my God.
To me, what it sounds like is they're playing money at its own game.
And they're gonna win.
They're going to win.
Oh, let me tell you this. They're going to win.
Yeah.
It's like people are disappointed when you say the first sentence. You go, they're playing money at its own game. Whatever. And they're going to win. I go,
Oh, because normally when you play money at its own game, you're playing money on its home ground. It's got
Yeah.
all the advantages.
Yeah.
you're going to lose
You're
every
gonna
time.
lose.
You walk into a bank, the money's like, you're on my turf,
Yeah,
bitch.
come on. Nice try.
Get out of here, baby doll. You got nothing on
got
there,
nothing here.
says the money. They turn up at the venue,
Money talks.
The island.
the island.
That you can only access by boat.
Sure. This grand room with lots of people around. This is where they first see Nikita Russian. Everyone describes Nikita as very handsome, with Hugh Grant-esque hair, an incredible yet somewhat mysterious person.
What does Hugh Grant sound like again?
This is a hard one, but I'll see if I can just
Yeah, that's right.
That's
That's
it.
actually perfect, isn't
That's
it?
it, yeah.
Do you want me to do Elmo?
Please.
Any other impressions?
No.
Nope.
Normally, he needs to be tickled for that to
He needs to be
happen.
tickled for that. Not for me. I can do it on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah, Elmo can't do it like that. I
Yeah.
can do it like that. Hugh Grant-esque hair, an incredible yet somewhat mysterious person.
Sounds cool.
He
I mean,
actually
with the
looks
Hugh
very
Grant
cool.
hair,
Yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah.
He's very handsome.
He
Okay?
also has a Hugh Grant like face. It's funny
It's
to
Hugh
say
Grant.
he's
Just hair.
yeah.
It's Hugh Grant. He walked around the audition room looking very busy, like he had a million things on his mind. He would be there one moment, then completely disappear anytime someone needed to ask a question.
Wow.
I like that about people who are running things.
He's never there when you need
Just
him.
delegate.
Hey, at some point during the episode, can you do a line or two as Elmo?
Of course I can.
I've
Isn't
looked
he-
up a
do you think
picture of
he's handsome?
Nikita Russian.
He's handsome.
Is
That's-
he foppish?
Yeah, he's got the
He's a babe.
foppish hair. Yeah. No.
He's an absolute babe.
yeah.
Yeah, he's confirmed.
Beautiful bone structure.
Oh my god, you got to put up a photo of him because
Looks
he's
quite
absolutely
cute.
gorgeous.
I
Like
think
Matt.
you've got to be.
So you fell in love with him in the first place.
Yeah, you've got to
I never said I was in love with him.
have a bit of that.
Just fucking.
Hang on.
It's all sex.
We don't like to put it in those sort of
Okay,
terms.
I was going to say making love.
That's
Yeah, that's worse somehow.
worse, yeah.
Contestants were divided into smaller groups and given psychological tests as well as practical. There were a lot of exercises where they're encouraged to build trust quickly. One of these involved falling backwards into someone's arms,
Yeah,
which
of
I
course,
think
trust
we
fall.
did just before we started this podcast.
Of course, it's the only way to pod.
Only way to fall back into my arms.
I got it wrong. I didn't understand what you're doing. I fell forward.
You fell forward, yeah.
And my
Fell onto
nose
Jess
was
and it was on
broken.
again.
You got that beautiful carpet graze on your face.
Yes. The carpet by Rosie. Lucy.
Lucy, I think it's
Lucy.
Lucy. One of the challenges involved baking a cake without a kitchen or ingredients. So what happened here is the contestants
Okay.
had to go out by themselves and show how, I guess, good they were at talking to people.
Honestly.
And making money, like without money, I guess, taking money on its own game. So they would have to go out and they would have to bake a cake by knocking on someone's door. A lot of people just went to people's doors and they would knock on the door and go, hey, do you have ingredients for a cake? And people, I guess, were really into reality TV at the moment. They had a camera in their face that was held by Skinny Bean. And they would just go, oh, okay. And then they go, oh, and can we use your kitchen?
While we're here.
Well, yeah,
May
can
as
we use
well.
the
Wow.
kitchen? Yeah. And so they had to go by boat to go to the main
Oh.
They'd have to do this. Tim, as himself, not as Skinny Bean, was already filming with his own equipment at this stage.
How's he filming everyone?
So he's only filming one team at
Right,
a time.
okay, yeah.
They then go back to the island to present their cakes to Nikita Russian, who is really impressed with what he's seen. At this stage, no one has any idea what the show actually is.
So is Nikita like he's the host of the show?
He's the host
He's
of
on
the show.
camera.
Producer, host. Yeah.
He's doing it all.
He's doing it all.
That's
So-
always a good sign, I think.
Yeah.
When the host is also the producer,
Yeah.
director.
Yeah.
You like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it feels comforting.
trust it.
Yes.
Feels hot.
Yeah.
You don't want you don't want all this red tape.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You don't want a bureaucracy. Oh, they've got like an assistant director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do
Another
I
one
talk
person.
to
Yeah.
about getting a latte? Like, it's just Nikita.
It's Nikita,
You go to Nikita
okay?
for everything.
Everything.
And can I get a latte?
And luckily, when you ask those questions, he seems to leave the room.
That's right. I think he's going to help me out with that.
Yeah.
He's getting my parking validated.
Yeah.
My boat validated. They all are vying to be selected, but they don't know what for. 30 candidates are soon selected via email from Nikita Russian Productions, and they are also sent contracts. They were all told that the project would last 1 year, so most people gave up their flats, jobs, and some even ended their relationships. Buried within the contracts, it stated that their food, accommodation, and any other money would be provided, and they had to meet in London on the 10th of June, where filming would commence.
I think if your relationship ends over something like this, that's probably just saved you some time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a reality TV show. I've got no time for our relationship
Yeah.
anymore. Okay, this is good. This is a major red flag for me.
Yeah.
Contestants was also told to set up a new bank account where Nick Russian would also have access
Okay.
and to arrive on the day with no money.
Right.
Take it on at its own.
Yeah.
And we're going to win.
Money is shaking in its boots now.
So set up a new bank account,
Yep.
but it's empty.
Empty.
But
Nick
Nikita has access to it.
access to it. Right. Nick was also looking for a co-presenter for the reality TV show and chose Lucy,
Oh, great.
who was already wanting this to be her full-time
Yeah,
career.
perfect.
She handed in a notice of talking about carpets. People thought she was going on Big Brother, but after signing the contract, she was sworn to secrecy.
Wow.
So everyone at work was quite excited for her. I think she
Yeah.
got a big break and she wasn't allowed to talk about it. Now, Matt Perkins, Jess Stewart, when you think of the
That's
launch...
not quite right, but
Okay, I'll get it eventually. When you talk, when you think about the launch of a new TV show,
Yeah.
what would you expect?
Red carpet.
Oh, beautiful.
a crew.
Yeah.
Crew? Okay.
Probably film crew.
Film crew, yep.
Sound crew.
Great.
A gaffer.
Yep.
A best boy.
A best boy, maybe some catering.
I'd love the best boy.
Second best boy.
Second best boy. Nikita Russian is both.
Best
I'll be
and
best boy
second
and second best boy.
Yeah, that's...
You're thinking drinks, you're thinking a bit of a soiree.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big launch day comes around. There are a few different teams that all meet in different locations. They weren't told to bring a whole lot, obviously. They were instructed to bring a passport. One of the teams, Team 2, all meet in New Cross in South London in a park on a cold winter's day that increasingly gets worse and worse. When Tim arrives, he notes that there are no professional camera crews. It's just him, as the sole camera operator, and he is going to have to capture the whole series himself.
That just doesn't seem possible at all.
No.
It doesn't, but it's fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
Yeah, he's
and
not as the
maybe it's
clown
part of
anymore.
the challenge. Maybe it's part of taking on money at its own game.
Yeah.
And winning.
And winning. And we're going to win.
And we're going to win.
And we're going to win.
Or is this one of those like Joe Schmo shows where do you know that one where that was another one I remember enjoying where everyone was an actor apart from him, and maybe there was a newish one that was similar to that, Jury Duty as well.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's like that, and everyone's actors, all the contestants, but the cameraman is actually the only one who's not in on it.
Well, this is why it's so interesting as well, because they kind of believed in the idea and thought that everything was a test, that they kind of believed that this was actually happening.
Yeah.
And so you can really understand why they got in this position. Like, they're all very eccentric people. They're all a lot of fun. And so it is fascinating that you go psychologically. Nikita kind of knew that maybe they would go along with this for a little bit longer than a lot of other people.
It's going to take longer for people to go, something's not right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's how reality TV shows mess with the real contestants anyway.
Nick has said that Rosie would be the team leader. She is meeting everyone and trying to sort everything out, even though she really has no idea what's going on either.
She's the team leader and the co-host?
No, so that's Lucy. So Rosie is...
Really struggling.
Yeah,
You've got two different women on this, and I'm struggling.
You can only deal with one woman at a time.
As a feminist, I really am struggling with this. You know, I've heard of the Bechamel test.
I've heard of several women existing. I've heard of that.
Taking it a bit far, mate.
You've heard of the Bechamel test. So close. To two different things.
That's right. The entire time they meet on this cold, wintry day, Nick is in the background on the phone the whole time.
Sure.
He's aloof and a shadowy figure, always lurking in the background. But God, he looks good.
He looks good doing it.
Oh, God.
Can you lurk when you're that hot?
Yeah, but he's like, he's kind of gaunt. He looks sort of gaunt and skinny. I reckon you can lurk.
You can lurk if you're gaunt.
Yeah. He's looking good. He's looking good if you're gaunt. At this stage, Lucy, the now co-presenter, starts presenting to camera. Now, this is bizarre. So if you watch the documentary, it's really interesting because she actually just starts presenting to the camera, even though she only found out what the idea was a few seconds ago. So Nikita kind of took her aside, goes, "You're my co-presenter, and also this is the idea. You need to go and present this to the camera." She's excited for the opportunity to be involved and begins interviewing contestants. This is where she first explains the TV show idea after hearing from Nick only a few moments prior.
Wow.
This is the concept of the TV show.
Okay.
The contestants are going to make their own prize money. They have to somehow each make £1 million in a year. They have no money to pay rent and have to be creative in how they survive. They have to feed themselves, find their own shelter, and do everything themselves. They cannot rely on their regular jobs to make this money. It all has to be by their own means. Everyone was meant to be equal, and in earning that money, they chose what path they want to go down. I think I could say they could choose what path they would want to go down, which is actually what I had written there. So, look, at this point, they're earning £100,000, so they're only making a percentage of, 10%, you could say, some would say, if you want to chose that. 10%.
Yeah, so they all have to go out and make £1 million.
Yes, and this is why Nick
can't do it with a job.
That's right.
So what? So, but like, you can't do it with your day jobs that you already have. Could you just go out and get a new job?
I guess, but he wants you to be inventive, and he wants you to be like, it's kind of like I guess he describes it as a mix between Survivor and Big Brother.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, you could do that without a camera crew.
You could go make £1 million.
Well, you could go and try and make £1 million.
Yeah, that's why Matt was late today. He was trying.
He was trying to make £1 million.
£1 million in the morning.
As far as the listeners are concerned, I was right on time.
And Dave Warnocky is fine.
He's fine.
Tim is filming Lucy present this information. It's the first time he is actually hearing what the show is about. It's cold, it's wet, and no one is quite sure what they have gotten themselves into.
We're in a London park?
In a London park, yeah.
Are we going backwards?
This is the launch.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The boat part already happened?
Yeah, that's the audition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was just the audition.
Right. Because
The boat.
that was interesting.
Yeah. That was way more grandiose than what the launch is.
Yeah.
For some reason, he decided, to impress people, that the audition would look like an actual audition, and
Right.
then meeting in a park is the launch, which is what people are so surprised about. What I find interesting at this point, though, is that no one backs out of this
Wow.
team. So there
Yeah,
are 3
I'd back out.
teams. Yeah. So at this point, would either of you just go?
Yeah.
Straight away? Yeah.
If it's like, well, yeah, you've got to make $1 million in a year.
Yes.
And then once you've worked insanely hard to make £1 million,
Yeah.
you might get 100,000 of it.
Yeah.
I reckon I would just stick to my day job and do a bit of side hustle if I had that in me already.
Podcasting. I reckon
I'd
you
do
should try podcasting. You should
podcasting
definitely try
and
that.
I'd make 100K.
I think
Easily.
I'm afraid that I would have just rolled along with it.
I'd aim to make
Yeah.
$101,000 by myself and be like, there you go, done.
I reckon, Matt, you could be taken by a cult.
I'd live in an apartment the whole time and
really-
not end a relationship.
I feel like now I probably wouldn't, but if I was 23 or something, I feel like I would have I'd just follow along, you know?
But you know everything compared to when you were 20.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
That's right. But yeah, what about you, Sam? Would you have?
I think I would have backed out.
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be doing that.
I wouldn't be doing this.
The
I
maths
felt you
ain't
would-
mathin'.
Honestly, you would be, if you were anyone in this, you would be Nikolai Russia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nikolai, yes.
I'd be pulling the strings and
Yeah.
lurking and looking gaunt. There was no commission from a broadcaster, as they had been told. Russian's idea was to make, and he hoped, sell it.
Right.
Basically, each team would have to make £1 million, but couldn't spend anything along the way. The money would go into an account that Nikita had access to.
So how do you eat?
Well, you have to. That's up to you. That's your own.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. And then at the end, you don't even get £1 million.
Yeah, it's weird that you don't get, like, it feels, yeah.
You
it's
don't
weird.
get what you're earning. Like
Totally.
you're actually having to
you
earn
get
everything yourself.
100,000, which is a lot of money,
Yes,
sure.
yep.
But if I keep my job that's paying me £50,000,
Yes,
and
yeah.
then I get a weekend job,
Yeah.
I could make, you know?
Yeah. You can actually strategically
job.
do a lot better.
If I flip some furniture
And you do.
and all, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Jess is earning £50,000.
Or I sell
From
feet
flipping
pics
furniture?
or something. Like I could,
Yeah, you should
I
do
could
that.
just have a job that's paying me regularly and
Yeah.
keeping a roof over my head and food on my plate.
Yeah.
And I could also then like try to earn some extra money that I get to keep the whole time.
It is
Yes.
a bad deal.
It's
It's
a
a
bad
it's a pretty bad
deal.
deal.
Like, if it was a real thing, you'd keep, the teams would keep all the money they make,
Yeah.
and the prize would be on top of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense that this is like his pitch.
Yeah.
Because he'd be making money from selling the show and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit of a worry that he's making most of the money.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of the money.
Yeah.
Of Team 2, 7 members end up going back to Tim's flat, which is close to the launch party. Tim decides to press on and keep filming, even though he's not sure where all of this is going. Teams 1 and 3 had all met each other and decided this was not a legitimate production. So there's 2 other teams that are going, I don't think this is legit.
Right.
One of the people explained the TV show to a friend, and this friend knew Nikita Russian.
Oh.
He worked in the biography section of Waterstones in Piccadilly and did not have a production company called Nikita Russian Productions. Team 1 and 3 asked to have a meeting with Nick, where he admitted that the show was not already sold and he was going to try and sell the show after he'd filmed it all
In a year.
in a year. They all decided not to go ahead.
Yeah, good call.
At this time, though, Team 2, who we know from the launch party and the people that I explained,
Yep.
they decided to press on.
Yeah.
And they don't know any of this information.
Can I just double check? What is Waterstones?
So it's a bookstore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, in the biography section, I'm like, is this, if,
He works at the BBC.
yeah, I wasn't
yeah.
sure if it was, okay.
It's also funny to work at I worked at a bookshop. It's
Yeah.
funny to work at a particular
Just the biography
section of
section?
the bookshop.
Yeah. Would you say that?
That's
you work
special.
in
No,
the kids
no,
section?
you just work in the bookshop.
Yeah.
You
I
can,
worked in the travel bit.
Well, you got to
There's-
work your way up to biography.
yeah, I started in kids' books.
You
It was a
started
bit
in-
too complex for me.
Lucy thought perhaps this could be a test and they could still prove their worth. Perhaps there was a second camera filming the whole time.
Can you
That's-
see the camera, Lucy?
But that's what I reckon.
That's what you would think.
I'd be half thinking that as well. Like, there's secret cameras.
There's
So
something
rather
else.
than going like, oh, I
This is a
reckon
show
there
within a
must be
show.
secret cameras, have a fucking look around.
Yeah, there's no
Have a
other-
look around,
No,
why don't
but
you?
if
Look
you-
at the
Open your
trees.
eyes.
As soon as you find the cameras, you've ruined it, and they'll kick you off the show.
And are you taking money on it its own game?
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't sound like Jess is up to it.
And you're going to win. That's what I'm asking.
I'm happy to let money play its own game. I got other stuff on.
You've always been like that.
I'm very
You've
lazy.
Always been
I'm very
like that.
lazy.
Tim wanted to work it out. So at this point, Tim's like, I just want to go ahead. So he's a camera operator, the chief and only camera operator, and a goddamn clown called Skinny Bean.
Skinny Bean. And we really like him.
In the documentary, he comes across as really fun and quirky.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I regret the sex dungeon thing I said before.
No, don't regret it.
Don't know if there's
What's
anything
wrong-
wrong
yeah,
with
what's
that.
wrong with
There's
having a
nothing
sex
wrong with
It's all
having a
part of the
sex
story.
dungeon.
Don't
A
yuck
fun,
his yum.
likable person can have a sex dungeon.
Yes. I think
We all
dungeon...
Dungeon, yeah.
I think dungeon's
a
got
sex
negative
room.
Sex room.
connotations.
A
In
sex
this
room
day and
underground.
age, so many of us living in apartments. I don't
Yeah.
have a sex dungeon.
Oh, imagine.
I've got a sex corner.
Must be nice.
Sex corner. I've got a sex room underground that no one knows about.
Oh,
Team 2, all strangers, stayed at Tim's place that night.
why?
Sleeping on the floor, the sofa, and the chairs. Well, a lot of them had given up their places to live.
Of course, and sorry, and so Tim didn't have to give up his stuff
No.
because he's a camera operator.
He's a camera operator, so he can go back
And
home
he's
at night.
getting paid a wage?
No.
Why's he doing
I
it?
don't know why he's in it. It's not explained if he's getting paid, but I doubt.
Right.
Because, I mean, Nick's
He's
working
probably,
at Waterstones.
probably getting promised.
Yeah.
You'll get a cut.
You'll get a cut of this. I think that's right. They were all still hopeful that the show might still happen. None of them wanted to admit that they had been duped. No one in Team 2 had signed the contract that was provided by Nikita Russian Productions. They did not owe anything to Nikita, but they were all still desperate to get on television and thought this might be their only hope. They would try it at least for a week, actually going and doing the challenges that they themselves had made up.
And it turns out to be true because a documentary got made about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in a way. And so that's the great thing about the documentary is that it shows them as really colourful people that are like they actually build the set of Tim's flat, and they kind of go and act out a lot of things, which is really fun. It's really nice actually that they kind of get to have their moment, which is really lovely.
Yeah, cute.
A few of the team went out and nabbed free food from everyone from the department, and kind of that was their first challenge that they made up. We can all eat for free. Tim set up a diary room.
Where are you nabbing free food? It sounds like stealing food.
I think it's. Well, I think they kind of get food from a market that's about to be thrown out or something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Tim set up a diary room in his flat so that people could go in, like Big Brother, and explain how they were feeling. Tim also put a farting machine in the diary room.
That's funny.
Which I think we can all agree is hilarious.
That is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So someone's doing like a little piece to camera in it.
I
That's
actually
good
think
stuff.
this is the first time I reckon money is getting a little nervous.
Yeah. Are they going to take us on?
no one's ever tried that before.
Yeah.
Because it was 2002, there wasn't a huge social media presence for everybody. People couldn't call out scams in the way if this all happened today. And then Nick turned up to the flat.
What?
No one asked him questions about their concerns at the time. He just hung out with them in the flat for hours. The footage is really strange at this time because they're all like in the flat and he's kind of laughing with them and they're all having fun. But I think at this time they're all kind of bonding and not really knowing really that it's a scam at this time.
Yeah.
Like they're still kind of thinking this is actually legitimate, and he ended up staying over the night.
And he
Right.
must be like quite charming.
Quite charming.
But also,
You've seen
like-
the photo. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that
no.
picture. It's
But
gorgeous.
Tim, the cameraman, he's sort of taken this job, going, this is kind of interesting, and now he's got a bunch of roommates.
Random people, yeah.
who are not contributing financially to
No.
his bills.
Yeah, not at all. None of them have money.
Well, they brought some food.
That's true.
Yep. Off
Some
food.
off food, some
That's gonna
stale
go in
food.
the bin.
At this stage, it's not. I mean, you've kind of made it clear, but even if I was them, I'd be like, "There's three options here. This is going to happen. It's a real thing.
Yep.
It's a scam, and there's something I don't quite understand that he's going to really screw us all over." Or the third option, which to me sounds the most likely, even though I'm from how you're selling it, sounds like it's a swindle, but because you said that exact word, but
Twindle.
But I'd be thinking. This is a guy who's a dreamer. He
Yeah.
wants to make this happen.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
just has no idea that he's in over his head.
Yes, yeah. And that's the vibe that really comes across from him, that he really doesn't know what he's doing at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, they make contact with Team 1 and Team 2. They find out that Nick worked at a bookshop and they were all being used as his guinea pigs. Team 2 were wondering if they should go to the media. They wanted to get the word out so he didn't try anything. Nick rocked up again. He claimed to be homeless and had nowhere else to go. He wanted people to sympathise with him, that he is in the exact same position as them. He had given up everything too and had no money. There was a lot of anger towards Nick that night. They all wanted to have a go at him, but let him stay over anyway. John snapped and wanted to kill him, but the others persuaded him to calm down until the morning so you can kill him in the morning.
Is John the clown?
John's the pretty serious guy that's like just in the back. You don't really hear a lot from him, but you know, he seems a bit more serious and a bit more subdued than the rest.
Because you've introduced 2 male characters and I just can't
you can't
separate
keep
those
up.
in my mind.
Yeah, you can't keep up. They all have one thing in common now. They all want to kill Nick.
Right.
So that's, they're feeling duped at this point. Nick left very early in the morning without answering any questions. He left his backpack behind, so they knew he'd be back.
Pack.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I really like that.
That was a bit of fun.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Every now and then we try and have a bit of fun.
Just lightens the mood a little bit on the podcast.
Can you do the
Let's
next
try.
line as Elmo?
I can't do the voice. I was going to do the laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do the laugh
Yeah.
and then speak normally.
The team made calls. That's good. I think that's really good. That's a good bit.
The teammate calls.
The team made calls. It's not really good.
Evil Elmo.
If you explain who you are,
calls. Oh,
your eyes were terrifying then as well. Don't know if you know that.
that didn't feel good. Jeez, how does he do it?
How does he do it?
Elmo.
How does Elmo do it?
Yeah.
The team made calls to various media outlets. They contacted London Tonight with the story. They were interested and said they'd be there the next day. Team 2 were finally going to be on TV, what they had always dreamed of.
Oh my God.
They all had this footage, which would be used perfectly for the news segment. As predicted, Nick turns back up at the flat. It's very clear he has nowhere to go. The team were able to corner him. They didn't say a word about London Tonight coming the next day. They decided instead they would trap him in the flat until the morning so he could be part of the story. This time the team confronted Nick about what he had done to their lives. He'd actually ripped their lives apart.
Wow.
Nick seemed adamant at this time that it was his dream too, and he was in the same position as him. He repeats the narrative
He was in the
over
same
and over.
position as him.
Pardon?
He was in the same position as him?
As the rest of them.
As the rest of them. Nick was in the same position as him.
Sam,
Matt
could you
just-
read, could you read the words on the screen, mate?
Matt just struggles to get through a sentence without making up a word. So when other people make a slight
it feels
mistake,
good if I can really
It
jump
does
on
feel
it.
good, and you should.
Idiot alert!
No, I was thinking of the
Hand on
listeners.
buzzer.
There would be listeners out there going, "Oh, I feel uncomfortable because he said
He's saying different
said
words
it
than he
funny."
means. He said it funny. He repeats the narrative over and over again that he really thought it would go ahead. London Tonight turn up and interview Nick, who blames himself for the situation at this
Oh,
point. Yeah.
How did he come to that conclusion?
Well, I think he's locked in there.
It's so
What a
easy
hero.
to blame
Yeah.
yourself, Nick, but no,
Don't
mate,
be so
Hey.
hard
come
on
on.
yourself, please, Nick. Don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm starting to think this isn't a swindle. This is just a hopeless guy. I'm waiting for the thing where he's actually, but all along he's been
all along. Yeah.
He bought all their houses.
He is 100% committed to continuing with the pilot, and even though he mentions this, at this point he's talking about it like it's still going ahead. And he's like, we can all work together and make this happen. He's not giving up on the TV show. He was annoyed that if you can get a TV station to come, why point everything at him and not getting the TV show up? So he's like, why didn't they just get the TV station to come and make the show?
Yeah, that would
that's
have.
wild.
Yeah, get the news to come and just
Make a
produce
show.
the
Make
show.
a
Make a
TV
1 year show.
It's easy.
That
the hell?
would have cost like millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, but it's fine. They can do that. They got the resources for it to follow them for a year.
I mean, they're a TV station.
There's a TV station. That's right.
You got more than one cameraman.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
You're doing
actually
better
true.
than us.
Yeah, you're doing better than the clown we got over there.
Yeah.
The literal
Well,
clown.
he's a literal clown. I'm
He's
not being
juggling his cameras right
disparaging
now.
there. He is. Yeah.
The report ran on ITV on a Thursday night, 3 days after the group came to the flat. A day later, the group met a producer to discuss selling the footage to make a show. The answer was no.
Wow.
The adrenaline had soon subsided as reality came and crept in. Tim says of this time, I asked my girlfriend to come back and she said no. We split up and that knocked me for 6.
Yeah.
It was deeply embarrassing.
Wait, I mean, he broke up with her right because he was going away for a year.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, of course she's going to
Fine.
say
Then
no.
She goes, no. I go, oh, God.
Wait,
I don't know what happened
hang
between
on,
us.
I dropped you for the
For a TV
show and now
You don't want to come back?
You don't want to come back? That's weird.
Will you come back for Skinny Ben?
Yeah.
Will you come back for Skinny Ben?
What if Skinny Bean comes and films us for a bit? He seems to be up for doing stuff like that.
He does, yeah. It floored me. I never picked my camera up again and I went back to being a clown.
Okay.
They became a bit of a laughing stock at this stage.
Why did Skinny Bean break up with his girlfriend? Why? They didn't even have to go anywhere. They were still in London.
They were still in London, yeah.
Why does anyone have to break up with anyone?
It doesn't make any sense that they all break.
I don't think they knew they were just going to be in a random flat in London.
Fair point.
They thought they were going to be away because they got told they're going to bring their passports as well.
And they were,
Yeah.
the boats and
The
stuff.
boats and stuff.
Yeah.
They were mocked by Harry Hill on TV Burp,
Oh, that
while the
hurts.
London Tonight segment referred to him as the wannabe class.
Was their TV burp a reworking of Ed Cavalier's?
I think it was,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Great reference. I'm sure every listener will understand. A few of the contestants even got recognised while out and about.
Wow.
So who is Nikita Russian, I think is the question.
Great question.
Great question. Nikita Russian was an alias, last used in 2002. His real name
Oh, no.
is Keith.
Oh, fuck off.
Don't ruin
What
Keith.
a name, Keith.
I mean, Nikita Russian is 100% fake.
yes, yeah.
But Keith...
Keith, what a name to... Yeah, I know.
He looks
so
like
his
a
actual
Keith,
name, he does
actually,
look
yeah.
like Keith.
Keith's one of the great names.
One of the great names, if you can name him.
He doesn't
Name
look
other
like a
ones.
Nikita.
Keith, Gary, Barry, Greg, Frank.
Yep. Timothy?
No.
No.
We were,
I was being silly. I was
we
on a
were
roll.
building up momentum there, Sam, and you ruined it.
With Timothy.
Put some bloody Timothy. He was also Jack and Doug at some stage
Oh,
of his
okay.
life. So he's had
But
different
his
names.
name
This
is actually Keith?
Actually Keith.
Jack and Doug are on the list.
Keith was also a very ambitious, described as a very ambitious person. His childhood friend Michael was interviewed in the documentary, The Greatest Show Never Made. Keith first told Michael about his idea describing the show and asked Michael to film it. Michael believed that Keith could make this show happen. He's a very charming and charismatic person. They grew up making comedy sketches together, and he describes Keith as the funniest person he has ever met.
He's never met me.
Never met you. Never met Matt. Or Timothy.
No, we've met.
I've met just once before. At some point, something happened to Keith that changed him. There was now an aura of darkness around him, and it hadn't been there before. So at some point, Keith just completely changes and goes down a weirder path. Keith hired a director for the show, David. Everything seemed legitimate, like it was actually going to happen, at least the pilot of the show. David describes his time in his life as having to take any opportunity that came along. He met Keith, who explained the idea to him, taking money on at its own game. He seemed really annoyed that money had such a hold on the world. David was excited, and like Keith, David filmed Keith as the presenter. So there's actually this footage of
Wow.
him talking to camera, being like, we're going to take money on at its own game. And he's actually quite a charismatic person. Like, he's a good-looking, gaunt man that's not always lurking in the background. Sometimes he's fun.
Lurking in the foreground.
Lurking in the foreground, always
But
lurking.
to be clear, he is always lurking.
Always lurking. David and Michael both went to the auditions. It looked like a proper production because it was. Lots of assistants and people that Keith actually roped in to be involved. David filmed the whole thing with Michael. Michael grew concerned about the project. He confronted Keith about the £100,000 prize. Keith didn't really see what the issue was. He also found out that Keith was creating lots of other names too to pretend that all of these people worked at his production company. Michael decided to back away from the project. They ended up losing contact. David decided to leave. This is the cameraman that was actually a legitimate cameraman. David decided to leave after Nick could not land any money to make the project and properly fund it.
That feels like probably the right time to
feels
go.
fair, doesn't it? But it's also so insane that Nikita just went, I'm just going to, or Keith,
Yeah.
just decided to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
No money,
Yeah.
nothing, no resources. And then I guess he just got someone lucky that he was like, oh, there's a cameraman there.
I think,
Yeah.
and the world was gone reality TV mad.
Yeah.
They've gone mad for it. Michael and Nick ended up meeting at a pub for the last time ever that they met up when the London Tonight thing began to play.
Wow.
And he said that a lot of people at that time were looking at him in the pub. So they all recognised him from that as a scammer. Michael was annoyed at him, but also felt very sorry for him. As time went on, Michael became increasingly annoyed at how Keith still wanted to make the TV show. So at this point, he's really desperate.
You've not learnt anything.
Hasn't learned anything at all. Michael and Keith have not spoken since.
Wow.
But it really does sound like he's not in it to mess people around. He just doesn't think he is.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
thinks,
yeah.
no, we're all doing this
We're all
together.
doing this together.
This
Yeah.
is the dream. We're
Yeah.
all going to...
Yeah, it's kind of like he just didn't tell people that this was a pilot
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that, he kind of just went along with it as it was a legitimate TV show that he already had a broadcast. And I think he says it's for Channel 4 or something in there. And he's like, no, it's actually happening. And then
he seems quite delusional.
He's quite delusional.
Yeah, he just needed, like, he probably would have got a lot of those same people to make the pilot for free.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If he just was honest about it.
Yeah. Instead of swindling people.
Well, yeah, the worst thing he's done is
the swindle.
The swindling part. I think
I hate that bit.
But the fact that they've all given up their lives.
Yes, yeah.
It's like you can't forgive that, but if you just said, I got this great idea.
Yeah.
We're going to make a pilot.
Yeah.
It's going to be very low budget, but
very low budget.
Yeah.
But we're going to pitch it, and if we pitch it and it gets picked up, you'll be the first contestants or whatever.
And if you're shooting a pilot, why are you going straight to it's an entire year?
Yeah.
And you've got to make £1 million.
Yes.
Like I was just thinking about it. If you had 3 teams, let's say each team had to make 100K, and then there's somewhat, like the winning team takes the whole pool. That's a better prize.
Yeah.
Way better.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
Why? If it's a pilot, why are you going straight to give up an entire year of your life and make £1 million?
And I guess
why do a year?
Yeah. Start smaller.
Start small.
It's
3 months.
A fortnight.
Yeah. That's it.
It's a fortnight.
And then we pitch it
to
and
make £1 million.
see how we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
And initially it's 10 grand or something.
Yeah. And also like the other, because there's 3 teams involved initially, I guess not all of them would have made the £1 million. So it's the winning team make the number. And then I don't know if they get $100,000 each or if they'll get, like, it wasn't very clear in this who gets what cut out of it or what the cameraman gets paid.
He must have realised, or maybe he didn't, that he'd still have to pay everyone.
Yeah.
You can't just have him on a year-long TV show for no money. Like that.
Just have people for a year.
Yeah.
It's so insane.
Certainly not in Australia. I would imagine the UK would also not. That would not be legal.
We only know how things operate here in Australia. Right? Imagine Swindle's not okay in the UK either. Keith explains that after this period he was homeless and people were constantly recognising him and berating him as the con man on London Tonight.
Should have had a haircut.
He is now an author of a book called The Death of a Poet. Keith is married, has 2 children, and has created, as he puts it himself, an authentic, well-built and real life. So Keith has actually changed after all of this. But none of them ever saw him again. So none of the contestants ever really found an explanation of why he did this.
Right.
And in the documentary, they actually have to get someone to track him down to find him.
Wow.
He's sort of run away.
He's run away from everything. So after the London Tonight thing, he ran away and never spoke to the contestants.
Sort of assume that, but yeah. It feels like it must feel like there's some unfinished business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wouldn't it feel like you need to make
answers.
this right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But he didn't do that in this process?
No.
Especially if he thinks he's figured out his life.
Yeah.
Now's the time
to reach out.
Yeah, surely.
I think the documentary actually did that really well. Like, they actually, in the end, they actually play footage of the contestants talking about him to him, which is really interesting. And I think a bit like it's a nice way to do it. The most bizarre thing to me about this whole story is none of the contestants, upon reflection, seem angry at Nick Russian, Keith, or as he now calls himself, Nick Quinton Wolf. They've softened over the years.
Nick Wolf.
They've softened over the years.
I'm pretty sure I know a guy who had a fake name, Nick Wolf.
Really?
Was this guy Australian?
No.
Okay.
Imagine.
But that was a good question.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Because at the time,
imagine if you knew him.
I knew him like a while ago at a community radio station.
And was he trying to con people for a TV show?
No.
Might not be him then.
But he wore a fedora.
Okay, might be him. Back on board. Might be him.
Which I thought might have been covering some foppish hair.
Some Hugh Grant.
He didn't think of a haircut. He just thought, I'll put a fedora on it.
They have softened over the years, and in the documentary The Greatest Show Never Made, Team 2 are all reunited. They have a great deal of fondness for each other, seeing a softer side to Nikita that they possibly hadn't had before. They all thank him for meeting each other and for changing the course of their lives.
Wow.
They're all content and believe that they had an incredible adventure together.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad that they... Yeah, because it's the kind of thing that you could feel like...
You've been duped and they're bitter.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you can't let that go.
If it had run for the full year, I think it would have been different. I think they could have definitely gone, and that ruined my life.
Yeah,
but like, what sort of time period? It sounds like it was like a week.
It was
or
like
two.
a week. Yeah.
So like,
hopefully they could. I think that relationship. I think John or whoever must have been like, we were never working out. If I was ready to break up with them for a year TV show, not even to go. We'll figure it out, and in a year we'll not even to try.
Wait for me,
wait for me.
Yeah. So then if you go back to somebody a week later and say that thing turned out to be a scam, and I'm really embarrassed, a swindle, and can we continue?
Yep.
If they're saying no, you didn't break up with them in a nice way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like,
I really need to take this opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and it probably, I don't want to leave you waiting for a year, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if it was like, see you later, toots, and then a week later you come back and go,
I got my big break.
You come back and go, hey, baby, let's
You me skinny bean, let's go.
Off. So,
you got two boyfriends, me and the clown.
Yeah. And then like Lucy could go back to her carpet job.
Yeah.
Like most of them could go back to their work.
It sounds like her work was really supportive of her.
So
they were
supportive.
excited for her and stuff. So you'd imagine they'd be like, oh.
They're all a bit embarrassed.
They'd feel for
her.
Yeah, you would be. I mean,
You'd be embarrassed. And look, it sounds like a lot of them weren't necessarily content in their lives at the time, but at least you can sort of go, okay, well, I'm going to go back to this steady job, but I've got a better idea of where I want to go, and I'm going to work towards some stuff.
Yeah.
So cool that they all found it as, looking back, it's a positive experience. I love that. That's so nice to hear. That's a nice ending to a pretty grim tale.
Yeah, it's really nice watching the documentary to go, oh my God, so like they all see each other for the first time again. They're all so excited. A lot of them have kids.
Yeah.
They're really happy. They've got good, steady jobs, and they describe it as one of the greatest moments of their life.
That's fun.
That, Jessica and Matthew, is the greatest reality show, Swindle.
I love how they came back around. The way you were talking about it earlier, I thought it was going to stretch out and he was going to be just bleeding their money.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, he just kind of seemed like a bit of a foppish, as you describe Hugh Grant, foppish sort of person that didn't really know what he was doing.
Yeah.
So you can actually see it in the documentary. Like, it started to build and it looked like it was going to happen, and then at some point it all goes away very quickly.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to make it happen, but obviously, he's not earning a lot of money. He's working at a bookstore, and then he doesn't have a place himself.
Yeah.
And so he's obviously quite delusional at that point, and he's stringing these people along. But at least the other two teams didn't go along with it. Like they pulled out very quickly, which I think was a very good thing.
From a story point of view, I kind of wanted it to go for longer and build more tension.
Yeah.
But just from a human point of view, I am glad it was like a week, and then they all went, this is bullshit. And then got back to their lives.
Yeah.
The team that kept going, I was worried that they were going to go, we've come this far.
Yeah. And
I'm
just
glad
keep going
it didn't
forever.
ruin their lives.
It didn't ruin their lives.
They're all okay now.
Yeah.
And it didn't even ruin Russia's life.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. He was homeless for a bit. He had some addiction problems, and then he kind of came out the other side and wrote a book. I don't know if the book is a really popular book or not. I'm sure that he's...
Was it in the biography section? His old happy hunting ground?
Happy hunting ground. It probably was, actually. He probably went back and showed everybody.
Probably went back for a book signing.
Yeah, he probably did. Imagine. He's made it. He swindled a lot of people, and now he's made it.
Wow.
That's actually how you can make it.
It's easy.
If you don't know.
Yeah, swindling.
You can actually, if you swindle, you can actually make it big.
Yeah.
And then you can bring everyone else down with you.
Oh, so maybe that's what they should have done to make the million.
Yeah.
Just done their own swindle within the swindle.
Yeah.
Did you...
That's fun. That's fun.
Do you see any of yourself in this guy? Because you are able to make big productions happen. You're like him without the delusion. Don't you reckon?
That's very kind to say, without the delusion.
You dream, and you've made big productions happen on the smell of an oily rag sort of thing. Did you relate to him at all?
I don't think in the way that he went about it. Like, I wasn't auditioning people, and I wouldn't go that far with it. But sure, being a dreamer, God, you got to be a dreamer. But keep those dreams alive.
You go for ideas that most people would find too intimidating to even start.
Yeah. But I guess where me and him. I guess the money.
Yeah, well, I haven't.
There's our difference.
I'm struggling to see a difference. Where do you see the difference?
Just I didn't take money on at my own game.
Oh, okay.
And I won.
Yeah. You
that
lost.
I lost big time. And I think Nikita Russian lost in taking on money. It's such a confusing concept for a TV show as well, because it doesn't really make sense. It's just making people earn you money, but it doesn't really. It doesn't look like. Because you didn't have a cameraman or anything, it's like, well, where were you going to film all of these people?
Yeah.
How are you going to film multiple people at different times?
Yeah, if the other two teams hadn't pulled out, you need at least 2 other cameramen.
That's right.
Yeah.
It didn't have anybody, so I don't know how they would have gone
how
along.
is this going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's fun. And I think I like Nick. Even after watching this, you're like, oh, okay. It's all right.
That's how we got away with it.
Yeah.
That's how we got away with it.
How he
Charming.
almost
So
did.
charming.
I think it does, to me, sound like it's got interesting elements for a show.
Yeah, there's some
I guess
things
so.
about it where I'd watch it. I'd definitely watch it. And it was interesting to
If
watch
Matt
it.
Little's narrating it, I'm in.
Yeah. If Matt's on it, or Sarah Marie's bum dancing in it.
Yeah, then I'm in.
Or at Rob Millsy Mills is just doing a song at the end
Yeah.
of every episode. Comes into the flat and does a song to take us out.
Yeah.
I think he could host.
He would be good.
He'd be a good host.
He's got a bit of a foppish charm.
He does have a foppish charm.
I hope I know what foppish means. I don't know if I could explain it.
I don't think anybody can. I think
You
foppish is just, you
You
know
say
it
Hugh
when you
Grant.
see it.
Definition is Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
He's
know?
got that foppish charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a curl in his face.
Yeah.
You know, like a
Floppish
He's got a
hair,
curl.
foppish vibe.
That's right.
Floppish.
Yeah.
Floppish and foppish.
Bit
Like
awkward,
Flopson and Jepson.
charming.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
kind of like that. You just have no idea of what's going on, but I think, you know, fumbling along in
There's
life.
something charming about
Have
that.
you got any huge projects on the go at the moment? Because I'm thinking about the movies you made, which is, I know a couple of people have done it, but it's to me it's such an impressive thing.
Well, I don't have any projects going on. I want to make a mockumentary about Rob Millsy Mills in a world that no one remembers who Rob Millsy Mills is, and
Fantasyland. That sounds like.
And he wants to get his 2004 hit song Miss Vanity into Eurovision.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And so I want to make that as a mockumentary with a wonderful comedian in Australia called Genevieve Morris as his manager. And
Love
they live
that.
together.
Yeah.
Have you put this to them?
I put this to them,
Okay.
and they are interested. But yeah, that's the thing. You just got to get funding. I'm thinking of talking to Nikita Russian.
Yeah.
But you
that
gotta,
sounds
I don't know,
awesome.
something fun. But it's so hard to make, like, you know, making things for free all the time, and you're like putting so much money and resources, and you're also paying like a cameraman.
That's definitely it's the game for 23-year-olds.
It is.
and as
When
you
you know
get
everything.
older, it's harder and harder to justify.
It is, yeah.
Which is-
that sort of spending. I'm going to spend like
Sad but true,
sad but true.
as the great James Hetfield once said.
Is it actually true?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, sad
Wow.
but true.
That's nice.
Yeah,
And we're going to win.
We're going to beat money in its own game.
And we're going to win.
And we're gonna win.
every time.
I enjoyed that story a lot. Can I see if anyone? I mean, I definitely can. I don't need to ask your permission. What was the guy's name? What was the show called? What word should I look for in the hat? Swindle.
Look up Nikita Russian. I reckon, yeah.
How do you spell that?
Nikita, and then Russian.
There's not a single Nikita in the hat.
Wow. What about
What was
about
the
reality?
doco show called?
Well, the great reality TV Swindle. You can use the word swindle. You could say, I don't know, £100,000. Right, £100,000.
Oh, it's in there.
Oh, is it?
Someone has suggested the great reality TV Swindle, saying, why do you think it would be a good topic? An early aughts hoax with twists and turns along the way.
Oh, okay.
And that was Hannah McAfee from Sheffield in the UK.
And recommended the documentary, Greatest Show Never Made.
It's a great documentary.
Good
you gotta check out this documentary. It's really good. And it's just a feel good story in the end, because you're kind of like at the end of it, you're like, oh, this could have gone so bad, and it could be a terrible ending. And then you're like, oh no,
I was bracing for it.
Yeah. They've all forgiven him.
That's amazing. Like, it sounds like every single person involved has ended up great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone is in, like, not everyone returns in the document. John returns, which I was surprised about. But the interviews with people are interesting. And they also interview Nikita Russian.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That is good.
So that's the interesting part, that you actually see him from his perspective.
Yeah.
And he actually thought that it was going to happen the entire time.
Very interested to check this out.
So rather than feeling like he's a villain, you're just kind of like, oh, you're delusional.
You're a bit delusional.
Yeah.
And I guess he had a lot of charm and a lot of charisma. So everyone kind of thought he could do it, and he believed at some point that he could do it as well. And so then he kind of just keeps going along with it. And I think at that point, he'd just bitten off more than he could chew. And I just made that phrase up. And he was like, yeah, he's just like,
That's
okay,
great.
well, yeah, thank you.
I think, immediately, I think I know what you mean.
Yep. How about this one? All roads lead to Rome.
Whoa.
Just made that one up too.
That one doesn't
as
make
much
sense to me.
Because, there's a lot of water between here and Rome.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Like the road that, like my street just sort of runs between two major roads, not like, and it doesn't get you to Rome.
Well, how about this one? Okay, that one was good. How about this one? So if say it was quite cold this morning, and when I took my dog for a walk, Missy Diggins, before it was a little bit hotter. 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's interesting.
We say about it Melbourne.
That is a very unique thing about Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I've always
When you
thought
say it.
it'd be great to have a term for the thing that only Melbourne has, which is changing weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have that.
You do have that, don't you?
I've travelled around and everywhere else is just the same.
Yep.
Morning to night.
Morning to night.
Wow.
But the 4 seasons in one day. So you could use that.
Melbourne, Australia. 4
Yeah, I'm
seasons
playing
in one
Melbourne,
day.
Australia.
That's
I
great.
like that.
Yeah,
that's
okay, you
good.
can use it. You can
Okay,
use
that's
it.
better than
As
the
long
other
as
one
you
about
credit
Rome.
me.
That was
Okay, well, the
bullshit.
Rome one was just, I was just spitballing, but the other one.
Like you could say Sydney Road leads to Sydney, for instance,
That's
which is
good.
the road just out the front of the studio here.
Yep.
And that's true.
All roads lead to Sydney.
Road.
Yeah, all roads lead to Sydney Road. Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think it has as much of a ring to it as the other
No,
ones.
but yours was a good try. But
Yeah.
it just didn't make any sense. Not like playing cash at its own game and winning. Hey, do you have time to hang around for our Patreon section, or do you want
I
to?
do.
Do you want to f
Of course I
off?
do.
Sorry for the language.
No.
Stick around. It's fun.
Well, Sam, can you be involved then?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much. So the way we do
You
this,
tell me what you need to do, and I'm here.
Okay, great.
I love you. He's got a text from Dave Warnocky. I actually did. He's doing fine.
That's so good. So that's that.
That's what he said again. I'm fine.
Yep.
Jess, it sounds like the automated app thing we set up is working. Edit that bit out, AJ. AJ's our editor for the listeners who don't know. He's one of the best in the biz.
Well, they wouldn't have heard any of that because he edited it all out.
Yes,
so
You don't hear a goddamn thing.
Please don't book him because
you
he's
never
already
need to
very busy,
justify.
and I feel like we'll be the first thing he drops.
yeah. And we've become accustomed to this lifestyle.
Wow, just
And what a lifestyle.
the lifestyle
So lavish
being
in
getting to talk to AJ every week.
Yeah.
Saying thanks, AJ.
Yeah. That's
Done
all we
another
say.
great
We don't
job.
say anything mean
It's
to him.
life, actually.
So this part of the show is actually, Sam, everyone's favourite section of the show.
my
A lot of people
goodness.
would have skipped over your report, I'm sorry to say, just to get to this part.
Great.
Where
love
we thank some of our great supporters. These people are the people that help make this show happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, we thank them over the next 30 odd minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know you were committing
No,
to it?
but that's fun. I like
That's,
that. I like hearing people's names for 30 minutes.
That's the low end as well. 30
Yeah.
to 40.
Wow.
I'm going to try and keep it.
You can keep it
Snappy.
snappy.
Yeah, you're going
okay,
to
this
try
is
to Dave it up. He hates thanking people.
He's
really
never
rushes
liked
through.
thanking people.
And we do it in a few different ways. But if you want to get involved, Sam or listeners, go to patreon.com/dogoonpod.
Wow.
And you can sign up on all different levels. Jess, what are some of the different things people can get if they get involved there?
You can get shout-outs. You can get early access to tickets to live shows. You can get 3 bonus episodes a month
Oh, my God.
on the
Make it 4.
certain level.
Yeah.
4.
I think it's the Dreamboat Cooper or above.
That's it. That's
You get access to the Facebook group,
That's it.
the nicest corner of the internet. You get a Christmas card
Yep.
on certain levels.
Yep.
All
It'd be
sorts
wild
of-
if you didn't sign up.
Yeah, actually,
Like,
it would-
it actually seems wild for me not to sign up.
yeah. It feels like if you didn't sign up, you'd be taking on money and losing at its own game.
Yeah.
That's our game. Thank you.
The first thing we do is for people who sign up on the Sydney Scheinberg level or above, and that's a bit of the show called the Fact, Quote, or Question section. I actually think it's got a little jingle, goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
Ding. I always remember the ding. Jess always remembers the sing.
God, we miss him.
Did you make it up?
Yeah.
Well,
really
I think
good.
she had to give a co-writing credit to the Widget the World Watcher theme. But the first one this week, and everyone gets to give themselves a title as well. And I only read these out as I read them out for the first time. So
This is good. This is going to be good. You're such a
So
pro.
I forgot when I was picking at you making small mistakes that I would later have
You
to
make
read.
big mistakes.
Yep.
People's names and do them again.
The first one comes from Soph Waldron, who's got the title of One-Armed Idiot. Okay.
Oh, that's not nice.
Well, it's just the title, mate.
Okay.
Let's see
I'm not having a go at it. I'm just saying.
if Soph's fact, quote, question, or
It's a
other
fact. Yeah, but it's relevant to that.
might explain.
Because it might just be one of those things that, the Queen gave her that title.
The Queen.
Yeah,
our
the
current
Queen.
head of state, Queen Elizabeth II. Long may she reign.
Oh, God, she's good.
So, and I think I like her mainly because our Prime Minister, John Howard, likes her.
Our current Prime Minister, John Howard, definitely likes her. They're in coots.
So, Sophie's fact is, so as you know, I recently travelled to the UK, and while in Cornwall, I had a fall and fractured the top of my humerus, which is ironically not at all a funny experience. My fact is, the name is derived from Latin, humerus. Humerus meaning upper arm, shoulder. It actually has no connection to its homophone, humerus.
Oh,
But people
okay.
still call it funny bone because when you whack it, it feels a
tingles.
bit funny, yeah.
Oh, which one's your funny? What is your humerus? Oh, your triceps.
Your triceps. Yeah, you're showing off your triceps right
Sure, yep.
now. Jess is loving
Where's
that.
the one under the tricey, is it? Yeah, right.
Jess is loving you showing off your arms.
I
nice.
regret just starting that. All
Me
right, the
too.
second one.
I really do.
Sam,
I
can-
regret Sam really fucking leaning into it.
Thank you so much, Soph. Next one, and geez, we're learning and we're laughing here today.
Love that.
And rest up, Soph. Hope you're
you're
healing.
okay. And you're not an idiot.
That was a little while ago now, I think, so I hope she's on the mend.
She actually sent that one through on Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Next one comes from Dave Loring, aka Perpetual Dave. And Perpetual Dave is offering a suggestion. Fantastic. Here we go. Hey, mates, got a quick little prizeless game for whoever's in the room recording this episode right now.
That's us.
Who could that be? Buzz in. It's me.
For Dave, it's Jess, Sam, and me.
Yep.
I'm Matt.
Correct.
He goes on to say, I've got two animals that I hope you're not already familiar with, and you just need to decide based on their name which one is sort of adorable in an odd way and which one is sort of horrifying in a regular way.
Okay, great.
Okay, so you've got coconut crab or Geranuk.
I reckon coconut crab is cute.
Coconut, yeah, I think it's a little bit of a curveball. I think coconut crab is an actual really cute crab.
Yeah, and I
with
reckon
big
the other
eyes,
one's
big dreamy
scary
eyes.
looking.
Yeah,
So you're saying coconut crab?
it's
Yeah.
a nice one.
He's saying that I've got to look up
And
Google Images.
And the answer will be clear to
Oh,
us.
I see. I thought he was saying they
Is
were
it a
his pets.
riddle?
I thought they were his pets' names, but they're just real animals. All right.
My God, man.
Coconut crab would be a cute thing.
Yeah.
It sounds cute. It sounds kind of fluffy, like a plush toy.
Yeah.
This is my coconut crab.
And it's like a little
my
coconut
God.
with like crab arms.
Yeah, that's cute.
But we could be wrong. It could be the other way around.
Look at
Matt's laughing. He's
I think
giggling.
something's cute. That's for sure.
All right,
That's
we'll
Matt-
go
Matt's giggle.
coconut crab first.
Oh,
Oh,
that's not cute
that's
at
not
all.
cute at
That's
all. Okay,
horrifying.
that's horrifying.
That's absolutely
So
horrifying.
wrong about that.
You don't want a plush one of that? Oh, plush one of that though. Yeah, that's
Big.
The fact that it's basically bear hugging a tree trunk.
Yeah, I don't enjoy that at all. I was wrong.
But
I was
imagine if
wrong.
that was Perpetual Dave's cute idea.
Look at this little kitty.
Because we don't know. Maybe it's subjective.
And then the
And it's the
Garanuk.
Geranuk. Look at that
oh,
photo.
that's fun.
That doesn't make sense.
What a weird looking
It's like a
thing.
giraffe.
Its head
crossed
is
with a deer, or-
tiny.
It's so strange.
It's got the tiniest head.
And this one is standing up like a person.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those mirrors, the mirrors that kind of just change.
Yes.
Like they're kind of pointing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
like
at a
that.
standing desk.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's working.
It's in a
working from the
Zoom
office.
meeting.
Back in the meeting.
It's just been
Wow.
sprung on a Zoom meeting. Yeah, I've never seen one of them before.
They're cute.
Yeah.
Cute to boot.
They're really interesting looking.
Yeah, that's
They're
cute.
fun. I
That's
like
cute.
that. Yeah.
Coconut
Cuter
crab
than
is
the coconut
horrifying.
crab,
Yep.
I love that at my advanced age, I'm still finding new animals.
Yeah, you'd think you would have
Isn't that
discovered
fun?
all of them by now.
No.
Personally.
Perpetual Dave finishes by saying, that's all. Much love.
Oh, that's nice.
Much love to you, Dave.
Much love to you, Perpetual Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Next one comes from Sky, whose title is Nude Model for Do Go On Figure Drawing. Oh, Sky, thank you so much for offering your services
That's
there.
lovely.
Sky says, today for you, I have two quotes from my great friend and mentor, the man that will change your life with overwhelming kindness.
Nikita
Rich
Russian.
Teru. Number one from his book, The River Troll. Here's the quote.
It's my nickname.
Your nickname's River Troll?
River Troll.
Yeah, it suits
Always
you.
hanging out in the river.
It suits you.
He's a little troll.
This is the quote. Not everyone is beautiful, but everybody is beautiful to someone.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So I describe myself.
I would personally word that as one man's trash is another man's treasure,
Yeah.
but it's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
And you get another good saying.
That's great.
Coming up with lots today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's nice to talk of people as trash.
Well, I've certainly been one man's trash.
Yeah.
And another's treasure.
I'm waiting to be a man's
No,
treasure.
you've got a beautiful partner, Ablam, or whatever these.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
Who's this?
Ablam. I don't know.
And the second one is the difference between a craft and art is that art has a piece of the artist's soul in it. You can make the most beautiful painting in the world, but if it doesn't
But you
have
can't make it
soul,
sing.
it's a craft. You were so close.
I was so close to that. I felt close to that.
That's nice.
I felt confident. I felt good about that.
So you're saying like something can be objectively bad, but if you put your heart and soul into
Yeah,
it,
that's
it's art.
That's art.
And I think that also means that if you put your soul into some craft, you've elevated it to
It's art.
Yeah.
This is art
Yeah.
now.
That's nice.
I like that.
This noodle pattern.
This
thing.
macaroni
Yeah.
plate that I spray painted silver.
I put my heart
And I love it.
soul into that.
You're holding it up right now. It's beautiful.
Thank
Jess.
you. I worked really hard on it.
That's art.
Took me 10 minutes.
That's long enough.
Sky then says, I wonder if Sky will explain the title. Also, about the title, I've just done figure drawing nude modeling for him in his art gallery. Okay, bye everyone. Much love.
Good on ya.
Good on ya.
Good on ya, Sky.
Rich Taru. That's a great name.
Mate.
It looks like Thoreau, but Sky put it out
Phonetically?
phonetically, and that
Love
is
that.
something that
Should
will
hold
help
your hand
me
again.
every time. We're doing
Stop
a finger
holding
touch.
hands. Please stop
nice.
holding hands.
The final one comes from Pervert Paramedic.
Okay.
I like that name. That's something I can get behind. My other
okay.
nickname.
That's not the title, though. The title is Chief Medical Officer who will take a peek whilst appearing very professional. Oh, my
Oh, I
God.
don't like that.
Oh, my God.
I don't like that anymore. I take it back. That's not my nickname.
too
Okay,
late.
that
It's way
is
too late.
that is a lot. So
Take a peek at someone really injured. Why is
wow.
You sound awesome, bro. Can I be honest? You sound awesome. Nice. Nice.
Okay. I'm interested to see what this fact code or question is. Hope it's not a brag.
It's a suggestion.
Okay.
Oh, I hope it's not.
You guys should
How
get
to,
into
God.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Matt, please only read this out when the three of you are together. Oh.
Oh, okay.
All right, well. I think of you as a Dave.
Jess?
Yeah, think
So
of
Jess
me.
is both Dave and Jess at the moment.
I'll pass it on to Dave. How about that?
Yeah, she can
Okay,
whisper
great.
it to him. Do you want to call it?
Dave will listen in. My Patreon donation is only for you. I will occasionally listen to Book Cheat, but cannot support literature, and Jess has a real job. Oh, it doesn't anymore.
I don't have a real job.
So it doesn't need my cash. Well, that's changed since the
She does
time
need
of
your cash
writing.
now.
These two
I need that
fuckers
cash.
get nothing from me. Keep up the good work, Matt. Jeez, you are making me feel uncomfortable. Keep going with Who Knew It and bring back primates. I only really joined up on Patreon to ask my question on Who Knew It with Matt Stewart. Might stop my payments once I've been read out before you lot bankrupt me. Remember, nothing for the SAS Twin freeloaders. Much love, Pervert. I reckon I'm looking forward to hearing what Jess thinks about this.
I would just love to go see how much Pervert gives us. 'Cause
Yeah,
if
that's
it's
fun.
$5.
No, he's in the Sydney Scheinberg level.
True. I beg your pardon.
High roller, Perv.
High roller, but you're bankrupting him and he's upset
I
about
don't
it.
have a real job anymore.
Yeah.
This is my job.
So Jess would like the
So
money.
this is for you and me, but
Yeah.
Dave can obviously.
Dave can go fuck himself. He has like 3 other jobs.
And he's alive.
And he's alive and well.
But I mean, Pervert, if that is your real name, you are just making me not want to read out your question. I can keep stringing you along till I get you to bankruptcy. And I think probably with the way you go about your paramedic profession, maybe you'd be better off.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much to Pervert.
No, because then if we bankrupt him, then he has to keep
Oh,
working
that's
more.
right. Okay, no,
he's
you're
picking
right.
up more shifts.
Yes.
Yeah, he's getting lots.
We need
Read
him.
out that
Yeah,
question.
I'll get it.
Lots of hairy
We're
He's
gonna
going to
get
need
him
that
off the books.
$25. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
I'm
like,
right.
saying him. Could be a her.
yeah.
Women can be perverts
Women
too.
can be perverts too.
Famously.
Yeah, we're not as good at it.
Not as good. Not as good.
But we can do it.
But God, you're perverted.
And
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
Looking at you right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit
There's not even. There's more than 2 options. Oh, it could be a they. Could be a whoever.
Absolutely
Could be
right.
whoever. Could be
So I don't mean to be so man-centric,
Yep.
that I think, oh, it's a pervert, must be a man.
Yeah.
I think that's wrong.
I think that though.
And as a feminist,
I'll claim.
well,
think
you're not
that.
a feminist like me. As a feminist, I
As a
think
feminist.
we're equal.
When you
we're all
talk
equal.
over Jess and say, you're
Oh,
not a
shit.
feminist.
Both of you shut the fuck up.
Shush. Have you ever thought of a
That
title
was my
for your
Hugh
show?
Grant
That was good.
impersonation. Thank you.
Have you ever thought about a...
Shush.
Have you ever thought about a show title for you, Matt-centric?
Oh, Matt-centric.
I like that.
What's that a play on? Egocentric?
Eccentric.
Oh, okay, yeah. Matt-centric. I think I like it
Sure
because I
about
think
you.
I like how it will confuse people.
Yeah. It doesn't need to make sense to be good.
Yeah, but you're right. My shows are pretty Matt-centric normally.
I think
Yeah.
you should call a show up, a feminist speaking.
yeah. Up.
That is fun. I'd
That's
go and
fun.
see that show for sure.
Okay.
And you got your finger out.
I'm
Yeah.
keen to do
Yeah.
that.
On
You
the
got your
poster.
finger on somebody's lips.
On someone
Yes.
can't see the person, just big lips
Big
coming
lips
out from the bottom.
and your fingers.
I'll do it. I'm happy to be on the poster. with
Yeah,
my
great.
lips.
Up,
With
your
my lips
lips?
anytime. Hey, come on now. Leave these lips alone. My coconut crab. My sweet, sweet coconut crab. That's what I call Jess now.
That's
My
a
sweet,
beautiful-
sweet coconut crab.
That's so sweet.
It's nice, isn't it?
The next thing we like to do, Sam,
Yeah.
is thank a few of our other great Patreon supporters. These
Oh,
are on the shout-out level or above, which is
Okay.
the Arse Prod level.
My other nickname.
And the way we normally do this, Jess normally comes up with a bit of a game based on the topic.
Yeah,
I know you love a game, Sam.
I'm thinking
Love
what
games.
reality TV show made them quite famous.
Okay, great. So
That's fun.
It can be real or made up.
I reckon we've got Sam in who's made so many shows. I think maybe Sam can, you and I read out the things and Sam, unless he needs our help,
Sure.
can be the one. Are you all right to come up with 9 reality TV show ideas?
Sure. Oh, are they all made up or are they?
They can be
up,
made
yeah.
up, they can be real.
Great.
They can be based on real if you want to just change a real one slightly.
Yeah.
And if I could kick us off, I'd love to thank from Battery Point, beautiful neck of the woods down in Tasmania. I love the shippies down there. Beautiful
Love
pub,
the
Shipwright
shippies.
from Battery Point, it's Hamish. What made Hamish famous?
Hey, what made Hamish famous?
Yeah.
Well, it was going on the Spirit of Tasmania. They had a reality TV show there for a few years where you would go on the Spirit of Tasmania. It was like Below Deck, like the TV show
Yeah.
Below Deck, but it was just the Spirit of Tasmania, and you had to be with all the other people. But you had to. The crew were actually disguised as passengers, and you had to kind of guess and vote each other out every day who was the crew and who was the passenger.
Oh.
So who was actually working there and who wasn't. And Hamish came dead last on it, but made an impact because they got fiery on the way out.
Yeah.
And they shouted and were basically dragged off the ship.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And what was that one called?
That was
That called Crew or Passenger?
That was called Crew or Passenger.
Yeah.
And by Hamish.
One season?
Only one.
One season,
It was half
yeah.
a season actually.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah,
finish it.
cancelled before the end.
Yeah, it was made by
Still
Nikki
don't know.
Russian.
It's disappointing.
I'd also love to thank from Shipston on Stour, if that's how you say it, from Great Britain. It's Tamsin Moss.
Ooh.
Tamsin Moss. So Tamsin Moss was on a TV show where you had to actually guess which one was related to Tara Moss.
Oh.
And you had to guess. And so it was like a line of people. And
Yeah.
so each day they'd be by a pool. All these women standing there on a pool, and Tara Moss didn't know her relatives, so she didn't know one of her relatives, and she had to guess. And each week she would go and she'd push someone into the pool.
Oh, man, oh, man
Yeah,
style.
yeah, man, oh, man style. So she'd actually push them in the pool to get rid of them.
Wow.
And some would drown.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
They only made half a
They
season of
couldn't
that as well.
swim.
They couldn't. Some of them couldn't swim.
And-
They
Okay.
didn't check that in though.
And if she pushed her cousin into the pool,
Yeah.
the show
The show was
it's
over. And she got her on the first go, so it was a very short show.
And what was that one called?
That was called Moss Under the Tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense, didn't it?
Because like a family tree.
family tree. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Next up, I'd love to thank from Leicester in Great Britain, it's Christoph Michaels.
Oh, incredible name.
Christoph Michaels. So Christoph did Undercover Boss,
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live style as Lorne Michaels during that time, and pretended to be Lorne Michaels for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And people had to figure out if it was actually Lorne Michaels or not.
Because they had the same
Had
surname.
the same surname, but they couldn't work it out because a lot of the people had facial blindness.
Can you do on SNL? Can you do a Lorne Michaels impersonation?
Yeah. So something like that.
Yeah, he's quite he's quite foppish.
quite foppish, actually.
Lord Michael's quite
Lord Mike
foppish.
famously quite foppish.
He's Dr. Evil's based on him.
Yes!
Can you do Dr. Evil?
I'm so evil.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
He does that a lot.
Yeah, that's
That thing.
I think that's a Lorne
got my
thing.
little pinky up to my
Pinky lip.
face there, Jess.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not looking, but okay,
I'm
you got
sitting
it.
in front of you. I can see that.
Do you want to do a few or do you want me to keep me going?
I'll do it.
Do you want me to keep me going? Good talk.
Why don't you do one more and
Okay.
then I'll do the rest.
Love that.
Keep it a bit fair.
All right. Well, my last one I'd love to thank from Iowa Falls. Oh, man, I love Iowa. Love the idea of Iowa.
Never been, but I heard it's a beautiful part of the world.
Never been, but Bill Bryson's from there. And
Love that.
from
America's Tim
Iowa
Winton.
Falls, I'd love to thank Bodhi Afalabi.
Ooh.
Bodhi Afalabi. What's Bodhi from?
So on one of the great bird watching reality TV shows, actually. So I had to go bird watching for a week, and at the end of the week, so they'd line up all these birds, and one of them was fake.
Wow.
And you had to shoot the one you thought was fake.
This is a real insight into your mind.
Yeah, but some of them, sometimes they get it wrong and they're shot like a really
Right.
rare bird.
What, an endangered one?
Endangered one.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of a lot of groups came after them.
Oh,
A lot of,
was that one Birds of Prey? Was the name of that
Birds of Prey
show?
was the name of
Birds
the
I
of
do remember
Prey.
seeing that
Holy
one, yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
that's a really good name.
Yeah. A great show idea as
A
well.
great show.
Great show
Great
idea,
show.
yeah.
Great show.
That Bode or Bodhi
Yep.
Afalabi.
Was famous for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real hit maker.
Won that series, actually. Shot a lot of birds.
Yeah.
A lot of them were
Shot
endangered.
a lot of birds. I'd love to thank some people as well, if I may. From Kentucky, from Harrodsburg in Kentucky, I would love to thank Zach Butler.
Zach Butler.
Do you remember Zach?
Zach, how can I forget Zach?
Yeah.
Zach was actually incredible because Zach did a show called Butler or Not.
Yeah.
Butler or Not. And basically, he had to. Well, I don't know if you guys know this idea, but it's all coming to me back. I haven't seen it for such a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had to go into people's houses as a private butler.
Yeah.
For it was a year.
Yeah.
He had to live as a butler for a year, and then found out that he was only earning minimum wage as a butler, and there was no prize money at the end. Yeah, and he only found that out at the end, but he had to pretend. So he had to go to school, like had allocution lessons.
Yeah, butler
had
school.
Had to go to butler
Learn how
school
to buttle.
and was trained by Bruce Wayne's butler Alfred.
Shit.
Really?
Yeah.
He's one of the big butlers.
One of the big butlers in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, one of the best, I'd
One of
say.
the best butlers.
Yeah, John Butler,
Trio.
Trios. That'd be the next three.
The next
Yeah.
three.
I think it goes from
Alfred.
Alfred. Then you got the
John Butler
Trio.
Yeah.
And then fifth maybe even is Zach.
But yeah, I think so.
There's
yeah.
not that many butlers these days.
No,
It's a
that's
dying
right.
art.
And I'll be honest, it wasn't a good TV show, but God, he was good on it.
I knew when butlering was on its way out was when Jeeves had to go into the .com boom.
That's
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
a website.
And when yours
It's like,
quit.
mate, if Jeeves is
Yeah.
having to get a job
Yeah,
online,
it's not right.
Then
We're stuffed.
We're stuffed.
We're
Or the
stuffed.
butler industry is absolutely stuffed. The ass has fallen out of it.
Yeah.
You're always saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
The
funny
ass
phrase.
has fallen out of butlering.
The ass
Yeah.
is falling out of it.
We always say that.
Oh my God.
So thank you to Zach, and sorry about minimum wage.
I'm so glad that he didn't get shot, though. That's where I thought it was going.
We're getting shot or pushed into pools. From WA, I don't know how to say this. I've never heard of this place. Baldivis
Ooh.
Baldivis.
Davis.
in Western Australia.
Wow.
I'm sure I've said that wrong, and I apologise to Thomas Schubert.
I'm pretty sure, I know you'll explain it, but I'm pretty sure the show was called Ball Divas. Is that right?
Ball Divas. It was
Ball
called
Divas. Well, how did that show go?
So that was a disco.
Ah.
And it was Disco Ball Divas. It was actually called Disco Ball Divas. And every night
Right.
they had to dance on the disco floor.
Yeah.
And they would lower the disco ball.
Yeah.
And by the time it hit the floor, you had to be under it but still dancing. So it was the winner was the lowest dancer.
Okay.
So you'd actually have to
Wow.
sometimes. So usually it would end on the floor with someone like just shimmying
Yeah.
on the floor
Underneath the
but it
disco
would
ball.
crush you. So if you got quite tight, and a lot of the time there were a lot of injuries. A lot of people had to go, but luckily there was a pervy paramedic that was just close by, so it was fine. But a lot of people were injured in that time.
Wow.
Yeah. But
so
it's-
again, a short run show.
Short run
It's
show.
interesting that all of these people have been on.
that's why I haven't heard of them.
Yeah, pretty
That's why I haven't heard of
unsuccessful
these.
shows.
Yeah, that's why I haven't heard of
But they were all the breakout stars.
them. They were breakouts.
Yeah.
There's different levels of being a breakout star. If you're
That's
a
right.
breakout star on a show that bombed,
Yeah.
Still
Still a good. If you come out on top of that,
Yeah.
a bomb show, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
if you don't tap out, does the ball end up just crushing you?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Did anyone die?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But
Okay.
yeah, Pretty brutal. The insurance on that alone was.
Oh, were you involved in that production?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you allowed? Yeah,
No,
okay.
can't.
No,
It's on an NDA,
let's
so
not push. Let's move
can't
on.
actually talk about it.
Couple more. I'd love to thank from Sewell in New Jersey. It's Louis Sedona.
Homer DeBoss.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the show was about.
The boss.
It was you had to be the assistant to the boss, and he had like 30 assistants at that time, and you had to.
Sounds like The Apprentice.
Oh, it's kind of like that. That's why it didn't last that long. So it's very similar to The Apprentice. But you had to work for him, and it was like just finding like his contact lens in the pool and stuff, and he'd just shout and scream at you. And it was a very unlikable side of the boss, which is very rare.
Yeah, that's
And
behind closed doors.
Behind
you see the real
doors,
boss.
See the real boss. Yeah. And so it was just called The Boss. And you just had to work for him for a week. And he had, I think at that point, there were 112 contestants. And they all had to live in the house with him on bunk beds. And they had to read to him at night. They had to make him tea in the morning. They had to, just bathe him and stuff. And it was a pretty amazing show. Never got released.
How was...
They were absolute backup stuff.
And were there cameras?
No. No cameras.
How did contestants get eliminated?
He pushed them into a pool.
Okay.
That makes sense. So, yeah, thank you for your support.
A lot of pools involved.
A lot of pools of these shows.
Fun.
I would also like to thank from Shepparton North here in Victoria, Daniel Sullivan.
Daniel Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
God, this
Shep
was
Life.
fun.
That's Briggs' hometown.
That's right. Yeah. This was Shep Life. So this was a bake-off sort of show.
Yeah.
Where they had to make the best shepherd's pie.
Oh, yep.
And usually they had to use ingredients that they never found. So the great thing about that was some of the shop birds were the ingredients for that show from
oh, wow.
Birds
From Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. So
same production company.
Same production company. Yeah,
Right.
they wanted to save money. So they actually had to make it from any ingredients that they'd find in the bin that day.
Oh,
Had
and
to
make shepherd's pie.
out of
Oh,
it. Yeah.
so it's had a little bit of Nikolai Russia's
That's right. Yeah,
fingerprints
bit
on
of
it.
Nikolai Russia. That's right. And so they had to just make a whole pie, and then you had Skinny Bean would use the pies at the end in the people's faces.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
great.
So so he
Clowning,
used to come
yes.
and clown and do all the clowning stuff as well. So he used to like smash it into
Right.
someone's face. It was really interesting.
That's really great.
yeah, absolute breakout star of that show.
And what was it called?
It was called Shepherd's Pie.
And finally, I would love to thank from Bald Knob in Queensland, Peter.
That can't be true.
That's a PETA.
Bold Knob.
Bald Knob.
Bold Knob. Well, that was actually the name of the show, Bold
Okay.
Knob.
Yep.
And I actually signed an NDA, so I can't talk about it. I
All
actually
right.
can't talk about that show. It was a bit of a rude show.
Yeah, no, I
Bald
think
Knob.
I think I get
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, it was about it.
Bald Knob.
Bald Knob,
Knob.
it's a real place. Population of 280 people.
Only 280 people. Have you seen a great suggestion for something to watch? Last Stop Larimer. Have you seen that?
No.
Go watch it on Netflix.com. It's a town of I think there's only 12 people and there's a murder. It's a documentary.
Wow.
It's really good. It's really good. There's a murder in the
That
town.
sounds like one of your reality shows.
It does sound like it's
12
really
people, one of them's shot.
harrowing. They always
Yeah.
describe my shows as harrowing.
Wow.
But yeah, it's really interesting. It's really good. Last Stop Larimer. Bold Knob.
So Bald Knob's named after a local mountain feature, which was named in 1895 because the lightly forested bald feature stood out from the surrounding vine forest.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
What a bold knob.
You say bald like bold. I don't
Bold
know.
knob. What a bold knob.
Do you say bald and bold the same?
Bold and
Can you-
bold.
Can you hear me saying
Yeah, I
two
can
different words
say-
here?
yeah,
Bold
say-
and bald?
Yeah, I can.
Yep.
Bold
Yep.
and bold. So I talk.
Okay.
And when you say a cricketer like well bowled Shane, is that
Well bowled, Shane.
bold? It's the same again,
Same
isn't
again.
it? Yeah.
Well bowled, Shane.
That's cool.
It is cool, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
cool. I feel
Yeah.
cool about it.
You're
Yeah.
like Groot.
Thank
you could
you.
say
That's a lovely
one
thing to
thing and
say.
it means a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's right. And
Or
you
a
just have
minion.
to pay enough attention to learn and
Yeah.
understand.
You have to learn yourself. Make you do a lot of the heavy lifting when you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Peter, Daniel, Lewis, Thomas, Zach, Bodie, Christoph, Tamsin, and Hamish. And the last thing we like to do, Sam, don't think it's over.
Not over yet.
We welcome a few people into the Triptych Club. How exciting is this? Jess, you could probably explain to Sam better than anyone.
Well, this is for people who have supported us for 3 consecutive years on the shout out level or above. We welcome them into this exclusive club. Once you're in, you can't leave. Matt is at the door with the clipboard. He raises the rope. He lets you in. Dave hypes you up. I'm behind the bar. Dave also books a band. I've booked a band this week.
Oh, awesome.
And actually, it's so crazy that it was sort of about reality TV because from the 2000s show Pop Stars,
Great show.
we actually have Bardot.
Whoa.
Oh, this is huge.
Oh, I was talking about Sophie Monk just before.
The whole gang.
I
Tiffany, Belinda, Sophie, Katie, and Sally are going to be in the club performing
Reuniting.
some of their hits for us, including Poison, These Days, and I Need Somebody.
That's
one of my favourites.
That's really great.
Pretty
That's so
exciting
cool.
stuff.
Yeah, very
I
exciting
think, did
stuff.
some of them go on to be in Thorpe's Angels?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think Sophie Monk was in Thorpe's Angels. Ian Thorpe, the swimmer,
Yeah.
did like a Charlie's Angels sort of thing. Reality TV show.
Yeah.
Great show. And the angels would like help like someone like reupholster a couch. You know, like it was really
No,
odd.
it wasn't Sophie, but it was one of them. And Jackie O was one of them too.
Oh yeah, she was one of the angels as well. It was
what
good.
the fuck?
Yeah.
It's
Good show.
Good show. Good show.
Thorpe's Angels.
Good TV.
Oh
Good
my
TV. Nothing
God,
wrong
it was
with that.
called Undercover Angels.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
But yeah, I know what you meant.
You knew what I meant.
I know what you're talking about.
Thorpe's Angels.
Uh,
Yuck. Anyway,
That's so funny.
yes. So Bardot's playing.
yes.
They're not being supported by the other band, Scandalous.
No.
No.
Scandalous.
We can't have them in the same
Season
room.
2.
Can't afford them.
Season 2's Pop Stars.
Can't afford Scandalous.
So, Sam, I'm going to... it's so good that you're here.
Yeah, love being here.
Maybe he can play the Dave role of...
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we do is we've got 3 people who are being welcomed into the Triptych Club. They're allowed in. They can't leave.
Yes.
Which is a good thing because it's great in there.
Yeah.
And I'll read out their name. They head in, a bit of theatre of the mind.
Yeah.
You're up on stage emceeing the night.
Yep.
And you sort of hype them up. Dave normally does with a bit of weak wordplay, but you just do it however you like.
Yeah.
You're the
He
MC.
has a bit of what?
Bit of sort of
Weak
Weak
wordplay.
wordplay.
Sort of puns.
Oh,
Yeah.
puns.
But you just do however you want to do
yeah.
it.
You're
yeah.
emceeing this night.
Yeah.
I'm saying their name. They're
Yeah.
running into the audience. You're hyping them up. You're on the stage with the mic.
Yeah,
You hype
yeah.
them up in whatever way you like. Dave would normally be like, Western Australia. More like, Western my friend here. You know, like,
Why's
Really
he doing
bad
that?
stuff
Why's
like
he
that,
doing
yeah.
that?
all right. So,
Here we
are
go.
we ready?
Yep.
Oh, Jess, did you have a drink behind the bar?
No.
Nothing this week.
Nothing this week.
But it's coming. If you just wait a year,
Yes.
I'll have a drink
You're
for
going to have
you.
some Nikita White
you can
Russians.
you can have a meal. Oh, fuck, that's pretty good.
That's good. I like that. You're very
very
clever.
good.
You're a very clever guy.
You are very clever,
You're a very
guy.
clever
That's
guy.
pretty clever,
You're pretty
actually.
clever.
Isn't that
Clever
pretty
guy.
clever?
That's pretty clever. That's pretty clever.
That is actually,
That's
yeah.
actually very
That
clever
felt
indeed.
pretty clever.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 inductees into the Triptych Club this week. First up, please welcome from Margaret River in Western Australia. It's a 2-piece here. Eliana and Josh.
Give it up for Margaret River, my queens. Something like that. Yeah, get it, girlies.
Yep.
From Uppsala in SE, maybe Switzerland.
Yep.
It's Daniel Kjellen.
God, we wish we had Tame Impala for Uppsala. Is that how you say it?
Uppsala.
Uppsala,
Oh,
you
yeah.
are an absolute king. You go off right now. Looking amazing. Everyone give it up.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. That's
Daniel Kjellen. And finally from Chermside.
Yes.
So there's a
We have a churn
and
side
that
here.
made me
Yeah,
think.
I know.
From Chermside in Queensland, Australia, it's Braden Douglas.
Yeah, lower that disco ball and dance for me. Dance for me. Clap everyone while you dance. Give me eye contact. Dance. Dance. Dance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Braden, Daniel,
I miss Dave.
Eliana, and Josh.
Terrible thing to say.
Dave would have
Terrible
said.
thing to
Dave
say.
would have said. I reckon. You know Chermside. You're from Chermside. He would have said something
It'd be
like
like,
that.
you're a dug glass half full, my friend.
That's fun.
Actually, that's
fun.
better than what he would have done.
Yeah, true.
I miss Dave too now.
It would have been Germside, you're right.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You called everyone else a queen until we got to the Queensland one as well, which I liked. I
Yeah.
liked when
Yeah,
you,
I wanted to hold back.
you
I wanted to
zigged.
hold back.
You zigged when
I zigged,
Dave
then I
would have
zagged.
zagged.
Yeah, that's right.
Love
That's
that.
Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Nothing much left to say apart from thanks so much for joining us, Sammy P.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for holding my hand the whole time.
People can find you on Confessions.
Confessions, the podcast, is my podcast. I'm also doing
I thought it was a podcast.
It's a podcast. Sorry, it's a podcast. But I do write podcasts so people can understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
I've also got a new podcast out called Your Two Drunk Aunties with Bron Lewis. So that is out. By the time you're hearing this, that would have already been released.
That's
Amazing.
your third one.
That's my third one.
There's a fourth one then. What's the other one?
No. Oh, so I had I'm not doing that one anymore. But I've got Confessions. And Am I the Asshole is in that, but you can call another podcast if you want. And then I've got Your Two Drunk Aunties with Bron Lewis, which comes out twice a week, and that's going to be bloody fun. It hasn't come out at the time we're recording this, but it'll be out by the time you're listening.
And
to
the
this.
one that you're not talking about, what happened there?
I just stopped doing it for contract reasons, but I can tell you that off the pod. But I'm also doing a
Exciting.
gorgeous stand-up show. I'm doing my debut solo show, and I'm touring around Australia. I'm going to Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney.
Oh,
That's what I'm doing.
that's fantastic.
And it's called Why the Long Face, and it's a story about a publisher telling me that I should write a book about my facial palsy called Why the Long Face. So that is coming all around Australia. I'll be
Did you
coming
say
to
that's
other
your
places as well.
debut?
Debut. My debut solo show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you've done quite a few shows, but they've
I've done
normally
shows,
been
but I've
with
done
Dave.
shows with other people.
And
I've
Greg.
done lots of shows with Dave and
Fiona.
Yeah, and I've done plays, and I've done split shows.
Ah.
Yeah, but I've never done a solo
I'm
show
surprised to
before.
know this is your first solo.
Yeah.
You said debut, which I think international listeners like, because I say debut and they'll literally laugh at me
Oh,
when I say it. So
That happened to us at a Birmingham show, and it's burnt into my brain.
really? They made fun of you?
Yeah.
They're making fun of me
Like
for
they
saying
laughed.
bowl or bold or bold.
It was very odd.
Very odd. Oh, that's rude.
you know, most bullies have been bullied, and that's
true.
That's me to you.
Hurt people. That's
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Jess,
Thank
anything
you.
we need to tell them?
That we love them, that you can suggest a topic. There's a link in the show notes. It's also on our website, which is dogoonpod.com. And you can find us on socials at dogoonpod. And until next week, I will say goodbye.
Laters.
Bye.